Oh my god,
Jim's gonna shut him down. It's a double kill for Jim.
Oh my god, Jim!
Looking pretty good. It's gonna be a triple kill. Jim comes on fire. Jim comes on fire.
The dark scope, the 2-piece! Oh my god!
Trató de darle ese respetazo ahí, consigue una pelota y rápido se voltea y se empieza a estar na marotagem. Belo ângulo dele!
For him, he's gonna be able to take out. Oh my god!
Oh no!
He was down to 1 second on the clock!
Já pegou bala na cara do Master. O Omairinho vai tentando fazer o primeiro. Vai tentar o tiro porrada e bomba! Vem! Clutch muito difícil de vencer, mas...
Square on the body that you hit. He no-scope for a follow right there. He no-scope!
Queda solamente positivo por parte de repente, consigue la primera baja de se da cuenta que el otro
What's good, everybody? We are here with the final regular season week of Mobile Mayhem. Thank you guys for joining us. Hope you're all having a fantastic day. We're joined by the one and only Domination. And we got some more great matchups coming at you guys. Obviously, lots on the line. People fighting it out for the 6th spot. Not sure that it is possible. Well, it's definitely possible that somebody can sneak that spot away from Trovo Mayhem, but it's not going to be super likely given the matchups that we have, but we will go ahead and take a look at those before we hop into our first game of the night. As you guys see right here, we got Nova Invictus versus Zygnus Black as our first matchup of the night. I would say that's probably going to be the best one here. Following that, we are going to have F4 versus Exiled. Following that, we do have Zygnus and Shredit, which does definitely have potential, especially given that Shredit's having a few games here and there where they popped off. And then last but not least, it is going to be 11T versus Vitro. So taking a look at the standings right now, you guys likely noticed that both Trovo Mayhem and Tribe Gaming do have a bye tonight. It is extremely unlikely that Tribe Gaming does not get the #1 spot right now. That would require Zygnus to get 2-0s, and also that Tribe does not win their game on Thursday. Trovo Mayhem...
It's versus 11th, though. It is versus a pretty tough team.
That's true. That it's definitely...
We have seen Tribe lose this season.
Yeah, definitely possible. Obviously, Trovo Mayhem, you do notice, they're only 5 points ahead of Shredit. But Shredit is going up against the #1 team, or #2 team in the league tonight, that being Zygnus. And on Thursday, Trovo Mayhem goes up against, is it Vitro or F4?
F4 and Shredit has a bye.
F4 and Shredit has a bye. So, in order for Shredit to have a shot at making it into the semi/quarterfinals. Basically,
they have to win.
They got to win the match.
They can't tie.
They can't tie because they lose the tiebreaker between them and Trovo Mayhem, because Trovo Mayhem did win that. So, a lot of pressure on the line for Shredit as they will be going up against Zygnus. We do, I believe, actually have all of our players loaded in and ready to go for Nova versus Zygnus Black. So, I think our admins are going to go ahead and hop into that, and we'll go ahead and hop on over. Day, which matchup are you looking forward to most tonight?
This one.
All right.
Honestly, this one. This is arguably going to be the best match of the night. I think looking at the matchups, this is the most... I would say one of the more likely ones to potentially go to Game 3. I actually think Match 2 as well will be a little bit overshadowed with it being F4 versus Exiled. There are two teams that I don't... Yeah, there's no way Exiled or F4 take over Trovo Mayhem, realistically, no matter what happens. So, you can't build as much hype around it. But I think those two teams are actually very even, and it may be a good matchup. So that is another one to look forward to. Again, does it make a difference? Not really. But it should be a good match overall. But we are into our hard point. We do have both teams making their break for P1, and we do have Will filling in for Nova here. I believe who said he is going to be studying for finals, and unfortunately for Nova, that is a pure Zygnus feed there.
Yeah, definitely a strong start for them right here. We do see Bear holding things down. We do see the PP19 in play. Based on the guns I'm seeing right now, if I had to guess, probably abandon the QQ9 and the DRH, which does mean we've got majority PP19s in play right now. Obviously, the ability to just be able to continually spray through there, a pretty big advantage. Bear's going to spot Parrish on the backside. Is going to get spotted. He's going to get beamed, but not before accumulating enough points to get a Pred missile right there. He's really the only player that's been able to get anything going so far, and I think the game might be lagging a little bit for me right now. I don't know if you're experiencing that as well, Day, but...
It does feel a little weird. I don't necessarily know if I would describe it as lag, but maybe really uncomfortable desync. I don't know. It's hard to say.
It could very well be on the end of the players as well, but we do finally see Nova Invictus getting some time on the hill as they do get a nice push on over to P2 right here. Pretty much their entire team set up right now. Bear gets the kill, refrag goes in. Raven's not going to be able to break either. Washi makes his way on inside. Definitely some awkward lag, desync, whatever you want to call it right there, and I was definitely experiencing that when I was playing the game earlier today as well. Just some random ping spikes mid-gunfight, so I don't know if we got some issues with the servers or whatever it is. But it is Zygnus with the lead right now, but Nova Invictus able to get a really good hold on this point, and it looks like they'll be able to get pretty close to tying it up as we get ready to rotate on over to P3.
It looks to be the case, and with Zygnus losing that gunfight, I would definitely like to see them just, at this point, abandon kitchen, set up for garage, and kind of get ready. Washi with the dirtiest drop shot double kill I've seen in a long time. that was nutty. Not just the one kill, but two. We do have Desi and Parrish making rotation around. They're going to pick up a couple kills there, but with Bear and Teabag set up behind the Lambos, might be a little bit difficult of a point to break. Teabag picks up the triple kill for Nova do work their way in. Looks like Nova get the better half of the semi-randomized spawns there, but they will maintain control. Desi, one of the players absolutely popping right now for Nova, at least on this hard point, gets another one there, gets a double kill, picking up 5 and Raven, and Nova, who got massively upset last week, are now ahead currently. Desi picking up another kill, triple kill there before dropping. Band picking up the double, and that's a pretty solid hard point for Nova. They now sit up a little over 20 points, about 25, so not a super comfortable lead. A single hard point hold could swing that lead entirely in favor of Zygnus at this point, just how close it is, but with Zygnus winning the gunfights there, they will get first trickle on the hard point pretty much uncontested, and Nova are now starting to try to work their way in.
Yeah, that was 2 straight solid hardpoint holds for Nova Invictus, and as a result, they're actually able to get a cluster strike as well. They're able to call that in. I don't know that they've been able to get many kills out of that, but that is going to allow them to apply some topside pressure, and a lot of the players looking like they are continuing to lag. Don't know what's happening right here, but Parrish going in right now. 14 kills on the board for him, like you mentioned. Band with a solid game. 15 for him as well. A Pred missile going to go on in. I don't think any kills going to come out of it.
Spawned on basketball court while his team lost. Not on the other side of the wall. Not on the other side of the wall where he kind of got a peek. No, he spawned in the back corner with 2 people in his sight. Please fix. Please, for the love of God, fix.
What? This is highly competitive spawns. We love these spawns. Everyone type yup in chat. Parrish gonna be able to win that gunfight. A back-to-back gunfights right here. He is stacking the kills alongside Band and Envy, and right now Zygnus having a tough time finding much time at all. They were able to get about 30 seconds right there, but seems like the map has stayed in control for Nova Invictus. It is going to finally be some time going in for Zygnus right here as their players start to move it all into the double digits, actually. That's actually the case for both teams right now. Washi's able to find one right there. I believe the only player on the entire map not using a PP-19. Correction. Raven using the HVK as well. But it is going to be Zygnus finally retaking the lead, which we saw them take pretty commandingly in the first hard point of the game. And looks like this is going to be another tight battle all the way through.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's good to see Nova bounce back. I mean, again, this is a team that I would say got pretty massively upset in Thursday's game. They faced off against, let's see, what was that, the 6th? They played against Shredit and ended up losing in the 3rd game, Domination, so not the best look we've seen out of them in a couple seasons at this point, but, you know, again, they're up against what would be considered a much tougher and much more consistent team, and they are showing up here in a big way. They are pushing Zygnus Black, who I believe is currently the 3rd place overall team. So that's massively different than losing to the 7th place team.
Yeah, for sure. And we do see Nova Invictus actually taking the lead back once again. This time it's them going to be able to get the hold onto P1, and Band slides on through to Kitchen. Able to hop on through Bank. It is going to be Bear beaming him out the window, and a big feed goes in for Nova Invictus again. Washi trying to do his best to keep his team in it right now. 19 kills on the board, but we can see 4 players at 20 plus right now. Nova is absolutely cooking. This is, I would say this is without a doubt the best game we've seen from them all season. Obviously, they've had some solid performances, but They've definitely lagged a little bit in the mid to late season, but right now, up against one of the top teams in the league, they are giving it their all. And they're pretty much dominating right now as we see them building on that 30-point lead right here, winning the majority of their 1v1 gunfights. Even when they don't, they do manage to get a little bit of damage in and get those assists as well. So it is going to be a break going in for Zygnus right here. They're going to try to get the remainder of these 30 seconds. But with the way that Nova is cooking right now, I don't know how much they're going to be able to do.
Yeah, definitely a rough position for...
That's actually a 5-man wipe, so never mind. I take it back.
Still very, very close. There's actually not time on the hill for Zygnus to retake the lead, but they can absolutely close the gap. Nova, actually, really smart play here. We have several players making the rotation over to Garage. I was actually surprised Dusty didn't push into Garage with his teammate having just lost the gunfight there. You would have expected him to try to challenge the low HP target. He does, fortunately for him, respawn right on the outside of Garage. Respawns right on the outside of Garage again, so he's got literally all of the COD gods on his side. But still unable to make the break there. It is Nova still fighting. A little bit more reasonable spawn for Desi here. We do have players on both teams getting it wiped out here and making rotations back in. Nova, with what looked like a strong push there, is unable to pick up 5 behind the van there. And Zygnus just got graced with the ultimate spawn. Their whole team spawned right on the outside of Garage on the Lambo side, and that's going to give them a lot of cover as they move in. But it doesn't matter. Desi beaming people off of the head glitch there from outside of Garage. And really nothing happened on that point, if I'm gonna be honest with you. You know, with Trickle from last, it was pretty much at a very close tie, slight lead over to Nova, and they leave that hard point as well with less than 10-point lead over to Nova. And in fact, I think both teams only really gained 10 points flat. So really, really competitive hardpoint there. Again, I think a lot of that due to some of the respawn mechanics, but we do have players fighting over basketball court now. It is lead once again going in favor of Zygnus, but with the way Nova have, for the most part, been playing, you definitely expect they're going to be able to try to turn things around. Band is up at 37 kills, Parrish at 31, Desi at 28, Envy at 27, and we're just now getting people on the side of Zygnus up towards those 30 marks, with 5 being at 29, Washi being at 27. Will has massively picked it up for the team here.
I'm watching the mini map right now just to see what spawns look like. There are
it's horrible.
Two players from each team spawned in on pool at the exact same time. Like literally not even any delay in between them. At the exact same time, 4 of them from opposite teams all spawned on top of each other. Oh, that is just comedy to watch, to be honest with you.
I mean, again, I think for the most part, this map specifically, and maybe Summit could be considered too, I think it's mostly overcompensation of the respawns. I think, you know, it's definitely difficult when you are fighting over Garage and you spawn at like a search and destroy defense starting spot. You know what I mean? Like, that's a little extreme. It's kind of hard to get across the map at that point. You've already lost an entire objective. Somewhere in the middle, great. On the hard point, that's not super realistic. So we will have to see as we move forward if we get any hard point updates. But it's once again Nova winning the better part of the feed there and taking the lead once again. Again, not by much. They're sitting up just about 20 points currently. And it looks like Zygnus are even going to make the break for the last 10. So it's once again going to be within a 10-point game. And these two teams just cannot catch a break from each other. You'd have Raven trying to make the turn there, but makes the turn into 2 members of the enemy team. And once again, 7 points separate these two teams. Both teams within a single good hardpoint hold away from picking up a win here. And it is definitely still anybody's game, but with Parrish picking up a double pred missile there, that is going to get some extra time over to Nova. Desi slide corner into 2 players. Is not going to make much out of it, but this is getting pretty close for Nova currently.
Right now, it looks like Ban's actually trying to go for the kill record. He's up at 48 kills right now. Envy not too far behind with 43. But regardless, it's actually Zygnus holding down the hard point. If you look at the kill counts, there's not really any reason that it should be this close. But right now, Zygnus on point with their rotations. Their positioning's been good. Their breaks have been even better. I can't even tell what's happening because of the amount of lag that we're seeing right now, but it is going to be Zygnus now retaking the lead. We are going to be on a rotation back to P2. We do see a lot of players already set up for Nova right here, and it looks like they're going to have a really good chance at holding. They only need 15 seconds right here. We got one player trying to push in the backside. That's going to be Bear. Teabag up top, 5. They're all spawning on good sides. They're all spawning on the backside, which is exactly where you want to be. Bear's going to go ahead, send out a concussion nade right there. Still can't spectate the game correctly.
Oh, no.
Wow, Zygnus pulls off the impossible, even with the massive kill disparity. 250 to 240. They come out on top.
Yeah, that was a huge, huge game for both these teams. And again, right from the beginning, Bob, we knew this one was going to be a good match off the start, especially if Nova showed up. And 50 kills on the board. Band certainly showed up. 43 for Envy, 41 for Parrish. SC did struggle down. The only one negative on the team. He had really strong rotations, and granted, the actual spawns on this map are like really hard to anchor. I do think Desi had, specifically around the garage, up team with their rotations in and around. So definitely a big shout out to Nova. But in the end, it was just a little bit better coordination, a little bit better teamwork for Zygnus there. Everybody negative on the side of Zygnus. I mean, everybody. 5, 34, 39. Washi, 35, 43. Teabag, 31, 38. Bear, 37, 40. When do you see Bear go negative?
Yeah.
So that goes to show how well Nova played there. But again, Zygnus in the teamwork department were just a little bit more tight-knit, and that helped them kind of cushion the kill disparity. I mean, Raven down at 25 and 40, but they were still able to pick up the win. 242 on the scoreboard as well for time held. And you look over at the side of Nova Invictus, and their top effective score was 143 and 142 for Parrish and Will, respectively. So, great game between these two teams. Excellent, excellent way to start off the day. And it definitely gets me excited to get into this search and destroy as well.
Yep. That was, I'm actually shocked that Zygnus was able to pull that off, because even watching that back, I don't really know what happened. It seemed like Nova had everything they needed to get things set up for the rotation on into P2, and I guess they just got insta-broke right there, and Zygnus pushed through at the very last second. So for people asking why it's lagging, I don't know. That's the way my game was for the entire second half of my stream today. So
right.
It's
Nova were up 38 kills.
Yeah.
38 kills.
Yeah.
And ended up losing by 10 points. Real rough for Nova, but I mean, again, great performance. But Zygnus has proven to be a strong team, and the teamwork came out on top here.
Yeah. That's, sometimes that's just the way that the cookie crumbles, but we are getting ready to hop into game number 2, which is going to be Search and Destroy on Meltdown, since we didn't look at it before. Go ahead and take a look at the maps and the bans. Obviously, this is not the maps and the bans for the current matchup, so we will not be taking a look at that, and we'll probably be taking a look at that when we get ready to hop into match 2.
We'll be jumping in here shortly for you guys. Let me just make sure I get my screenshot here of all the scoreboard action we have going on. 7,675 points for Band.
Wow.
As a rough one to lose.
Yep. That's plus 38 and you lose. That's just so crazy.
every single player on the enemy team negative. Yeah, yeah. Apparently, I sound like R2D2 on autotune.
Yeah, for some reason my Discord's been bugging the last few days. I don't know what it is.
Yo, I keep telling you, man, it's time. It's time to upgrade that computer. I'm getting ready to do it too.
Oh, it's time for me to do it too?
Yeah!
All right. Time to run the dual PC setup for my mobile streams.
There you go. Oh, looks like we are going to get a restart for our Search Destroy, which will be on Meltdown here for you guys. Again, just as a little bit of a catch-up, since we have a second of downtime here. We do have currently Invictus with a ban on the DRH, Zygnus with a ban on the QQ9, the map bans for if anybody is interested or cares was Invictus banned a hardpoint firing range and Zygnus banned search and destroy on Tunisia. So that is currently where we sit with Zygnus up with the 1-0 lead in the series so far.
Chad, I have good news for you. I'm getting a haircut tomorrow. I know many of you will be very happy about it. To be honest, I'm kind of happy about it too because the current state of my hair is annoying me. And it looks like we are here with attempt number 2 at game number 2.
So far, we've got 8 out of 10 loaded in, 9 out of 10 loaded in. And hopefully we'll get in here soon. Just waiting on one of the Zygnus players to get in. The Washi Bear Raven. Okay, we're waiting on Raven. No fish today. No fish today.
Yeah, we are here and ready to go for game number 2. Obviously, the sniping power over on Zygnus in Washi going to be something difficult for Nova to contend with. I believe Band has typically been their go-to sniper, but not to say he's a bad sniper, hasn't had any of those big performances like we have seen, and he is actually going to be first down for them. It's Washi pushing up with the DLQ. I feel like we typically see him using the Locust, but he's going to be rocking that for right now. They already get the bomb down.
Bad flex.
And it is going to be one player down for each team. 34 seconds remain. A little bit laggy on the screen. Trying to find somebody on the rotation from their spawn side, and it is going to be Nova pushing all together, and 5 is ready for it. Finally going to get taken out, but Washi with the hop-up snipe right there. And that's going to be a 1-0 lead for Zygnus off the start.
Yeah, Zygnus, definitely a strong team. Again, the sniper presence that this team has had on Washi has been absolutely nuts. And that's not the down talk Band in the performances that he's had, because again, this Nova Invictus team, while they did struggle a little bit last week and the week before, overall their season has still been pretty solid. I mean, they're in the top 5. Yeah. So you can't really complain too much, especially with the competition that they are currently behind, has just been a little bit more consistent, unfortunately for them. Washi has been possibly the most consistent sniper all season long. Chat may roast me for it, but right up there as well, Lil D has been a phenomenal sniper for Mayhem, so possibly some nominations for Marksman of the Split between these two.
Yep, definitely, definitely big performances for the two of them, and definitely good to see Literally bouncing back following some of his struggles with the sniper as well. Bear tries to hit some shots. I believe his teammate able to clutch it up, and he's going to jump into 3 players at the same time. That is a little bit less than ideal, but Washi finds a 2-piece right there. 4 kills on the board through 3 rounds, and he is not done yet. 1 player is going to remain. Raven's going to be able to take out Envy. A 3-0 lead for Zygnus Black right here, and they seem to be finding all the kills that they couldn't manage to find in the hardpoint game. And it's definitely working out in their favor as we still see 3 players yet to find a kill over on Nova.
Yeah, and, you know, this is kind of how I would have expected the Search and Destroy to go. The way Nova and Invictus started off and honestly played through the whole game as far as gun skill and the rotations went, I would have absolutely expected them, if anything, to win the hard point. and Zygnus to have the stronger search and destroy team, especially with the likes of Washi, who we see up at 4 kills right now. And unfortunately for Nova Invictus, they weren't able to find the win in Hardpoint. They were about 10 points shy, which is unfortunate for them, but I definitely think it makes a incredibly difficult matchup for them, with, again, just how good this Zygnus team is at search. Even with the corner slide there, Washi hears the footsteps, turns around, gets the quick scope there, and that is going to be 4 rounds in a row going over to Zygnus Black.
Yep, they seem like almost just a freaking steamroller right now. They're actually going to play this a little more passive. I think Washi wanted to make the push, but didn't have any teammates in there with him. Regardless, 2 kills already going in for Zygnus Black right here, as it looks to be another dominant round for them. We do have Nova trying to make the push on over from A. Obviously, you don't want to overextend. That's going to allow Zygnus to make their way all the way on over to B. Free plant going to go in for them. And it's going to be on Nova to try to go for the 3v5 retake. Teabag finds another one, so it's going to be a 1v4 retake now for Will. And with the way that Zygnus has been playing, that doesn't seem too terribly likely. He gets taken out. A 5-0 lead, and what seemed like one of the best matchups that Nova had all season could be turning out very, very quick and poorly on their side of things, as we do see the 5-0 lead. Obviously, there is a tendency for some of these teams to thrive a lot more on one side or the other. We'll see if they can make something happen here on the offensive side, but they're going to have to make some crazy things happen, especially with the way this has gone so far.
Yeah, I mean, for the most part, I think these two teams today are pretty much playing for bragging rights. I think our top 6 are pretty much locked in. There may, in the middle, be a little bit of movement around, but I think 1 and 2 are pretty locked in with Zygnus Elite and Tribe, just based off of the games we have today and the games that we have on Thursday. So the placements for 4 through 6 may determine who they face on Tuesday, but the important matchup was seeing who is going to get those top 2 spots. Those, of course, both give you a bye. They're going to allow you to essentially not have to play on Tuesday's games, which is just one less chance of being eliminated. So it's a pretty big advantage to be in that spot. But with Zygnus Elite playing against Shredit, and then Zygnus Elite playing against Invictus on Thursday, it's kind of hard to say. I mean, you could potentially see Zygnus Black pull a second place out. It'd be rough. It'd be rough, because the expectation would be, you'd think Zygnus Elite, having beat Tribe, would probably beat Invictus 2-0. At worst case, you would think 2-1. And that's going to keep them up above Zygnus Black, who is up against Vitro on Thursday. That's going to be very likely a pretty one-sided match, so we will have to see how specifically the Zygnus Elite versus Invictus match goes on Thursday. But unless if Nova are able to make a 1v4 comeback here, which is not going to happen, that is going to be the 6-1 search and destroy win for Zygnus, and that's going to be the 2-0 that they needed. Looking at the standings, that is temporarily going to bump Zygnus Black up into second place by 5 points. But again, with Zygnus Elite playing up against Shredit today, I don't think they're going to hold this lead for too very long. Specifically through the next matchup, they'll pretty much hold it. But unless the Shredit are able to come through with what I'm going to consider a miracle. I mean, they did beat Invictus last week, so we know this is the team that when they show up, they do have potential. But Zygnus Elite is one of the more consistent teams in the league as far as their performance goes, as well as one of the overall best teams in the league, and that is why they've held this second place spot these past couple weeks.
Yeah, that was definitely one of the fastest search and destroy games I've ever seen in Mobile Mayhem. Obviously, just nothing really going the whole time. We did find Nova with 1 round going in, but it just seemed like kind of a Hail Mary at the end right there, as we did have 5 going 8-2, Bear going 8-3, Zygnus Raven 5-1, Washi 7-2. Very, very one-sided. That is going to give us ready to hop into game number 2. It is going to be F4 versus Exiled, and honestly, This is probably one of the more evenly matched matchups that we're going to have tonight. F4 has definitely made their way up there a little bit toward the end of the season. They're actually only 10 points back of Exiled right now. Exiled has shown some improvement throughout the season, but not really been able to find any consistency against those top teams. So those two teams will be matching up next. We are going to run through the maps and the bans real quick, since that's what these updated ones are for, I believe. We do have Standoff Hardpoint for game number 1. Raid, Search, and Destroy for game number 2. Firing Range Domination. If we go to a game 3, bans on the DRH and the Bison, so lots of QQ9s and maybe a couple HVKs. Exile with a ban on Hardpoint Summit, and F4 with a ban on Hardpoint Hackney Yard.
Definitely, I think this is, again, going to be a little bit of an underrated matchup based on just both of these teams being down towards the bottom of the lineup. But both of these teams, despite being low on score, have made some of the top teams really fight to earn their win. So it's kind of hard to say. I think these two teams are actually pretty even. I would give the edge a bit to Exiled, but I mean, we have a bunch of really good players on both of the teams. Specifically looking at F4, obviously we've had Minwoo and Raph have pretty solid performances, at least comparatively across the board, as well as the side of Exiled, who, again, same kind of situation. They've had really good matchups. They've just been unable to close it out. But overall, pretty impressive performance out of them several times throughout the season. And we're obviously going to be looking at the likes of Sleepyhead has been a crazy good player for them. Rihan has been, for the most part, their primary sniper, but we haven't seen him as much the past couple of weeks. We've seen Xfall with varying performances. We've seen obviously Raballo in the past, making the adjustment over to phone, has gotten better week to week, so we'll have to see what kind of performance he's going to have here today. So it's hard to say. I mean, again, I think these two teams are actually way closer than a lot of people will give them credit for.
Yep. We've got all of our players loading in. I do see some people in chat asking about the format for the finals and everything else, when that's going to be happening. So this is the last week of the regular season of Mobile Mayhem. Following that, we will have the quarter and semifinals starting next Tuesday. So the way that is going to work is the number 3 through 6 teams will play in the quarterfinals to determine who is going to be playing in the semifinals. Wait. Did I say that right? Wait. Yes, to determine who's going to be playing in the semifinals. So the number 1 and number 2 seeds will be playing on the first day, but not until the second round of matchups. And then following that, so I guess it'll be more like a March Madness style bracket as opposed to a Mobile Mayhem style bracket. So effectively, it is going to be I'm assuming the 2 versus 6 seed, and then the 3 versus 4 seed in the first 2 matchups, and the winner of 3 versus 6 will go against seed number 1, and the winner of 3 versus 4 will go against seed number 2. So that
sounds about right.
Following those matchups, we will have the finals on Friday alongside the third place matchup. So obviously the 2 teams that lose in the semifinals will play for third place. 2 teams that win in the semifinals will be playing for the finals, which takes home the majority of the $2,500 prize pool. And then the week after that, I believe we will have our All-Stars game.
Yeah, I actually have the dates on my other screen here. Yeah, so the semi and quarterfinals will be on next Tuesday, or the quarterfinals will be on next Tuesday. The semifinals will be on Thursday. Finals will be the week after, which will be Tuesday for the finals.
Oh, wait, did you say Thursday separate days for semis and quarters?
Yes.
Oh, interesting.
Yep. The quarterfinals are on the 18th, which will be those 2 matchups. I believe they're best of 5.
Yeah.
And then on Thursday will be the semifinals. Those will also be best of 5. finals will be on Tuesday, which will be best of 7. And then the All-Stars will be on that Thursday following. So I think pretty soon here we should have nominations for, or well, at least the form going out for MVP of the split, Marksman of the split, and Rookie of the split. I also will personally do some kind of like side awards. The idea is, I'll do like best overall KDA, best hardpoint player, best search and destroy player, etc. So, actually, so it looks like All Stars are going to be on Friday, not Thursday. So, the rest of the schedule is the same though.
All Stars on Friday. That's odd.
It is odd, but I mean, I guess it's All Stars. It's not really this season. It's some extra content for chat because chat is never satisfied.
True. Very, very true. I think something else is Thursday. I have an event on Thursday, but it's like in the afternoon, so I wonder if there was an impression that I was going to be busy during that, and then, who knows. 27th. Yeah, I'm talking the 27th, I think.
Yeah, Thursday is the 27th, yeah. That's what the schedule says the All-Stars is on, B.
Well, we'll talk about it afterward and figure it out.
Yeah.
Just waiting for a few more of our F4 players to get loaded in, and we'll be good to go for the start of match 2.
Why don't we go ahead and pop into the first part of the interview?
Oh yeah, I have an interview.
Players.
Thank you.
Yeah, let's do that.
This is an interview with a European player who I don't know much about, but I'm excited to learn. Bada bing, bada boom.
Mobile Mayhem interview. We've got Max Sauce, and at the top of the overlay it says player interview, but for the first time we've got an org owner on the interview. So I'm excited about it because most people don't get insight into what it's like to run an org and manage teams and kind of enter the competitive space for a new game. So I appreciate you hopping on. Thanks for joining me for the interview.
Thanks for having me here.
So both of us are a little bit older than the average mobile gamer out there. So, and a lot of times I talk to people, I'm like, hey, what was your first game? And they're like, oh, COD Mobile was my first game. or one of the many mobile games that have come out in the past 5 or 6 years, but it's a little bit different for both of us. So when did you start gaming? What were some of the first games you played?
Pretty young. When I started, single digit age. One of the first games that I really remember, GoldenEye, Mario Kart 64, all the way back to like Atari. I forget what it's called. The one with the ships where you're just flying
like
upwards.
Space Invaders and
Space Invaders. Yeah, like that was like when gaming was garbage.
Yeah, garbage and
intro.
also pure at the same time.
Even like Pong and original Pac-Man where you just had the joystick and you plug it into your TV.
Yeah, man. GoldenEye 007 GoldenEye was my real introduction to shooting games, and I've been hooked for probably 30 years at this point. But yeah, that's awesome. So so for you, the transition to mobile gaming obviously happened later. Did you ever compete in mobile games before you kind of got into the org ownership and everything else with that?
In mobile specifically, no. I've competed for fun, just within some lower level events. Within Brawl Stars, we had kind of a meme team that was called Aphelion Bots after we started the org that actually got top 30 in North America from a monthly qualifier. But it was just for fun. Never really took competition serious in the mobile space. My competition was console back in the day.
And so with Aphelion, what kind of inspired you to start the org and get into the kind of administrative and running teams and getting involved in competition as an org owner?
So previously myself and our original founders and the folks who came together to start the organization, we previously worked for other high-level organizations weren't really happy with how they were run, what happened there, and ultimately led us to decide that we were going to start our own organization so that we could do things how we felt they should be done. And that was primarily in the mobile space in the last 2.5 to 3 years, when I re-entered the mobile space from the job market. And realistically, up till August of 2019, myself and the rest of us had worked for other groups. And like I said, just weren't happy with where we worked, how it was run, the opportunities that were given to us. And so we decided to take a shot at doing it ourselves and never look back.
Oh, that's awesome. So how does that start, right? Like you can, there's plenty of people out there that'll decide to make a name for their little group with their friends and put it on Twitter. But what does it take to actually get an org off the ground, competing, profitable? Those are some huge challenges.
I'd say for the majority, like not considering like, Nade Shot or, Chief Pat of like, long-term history in the industry, like kind of knowing the ins and outs and then going at it, like that's kind of a very rare majority or a very rare minority. The majority of groups, they're really ultimately kind of like starting as like a dollar and a dream, just kind of like, oh, this is cool and I'm passionate about it, so let's give it a shot, not really knowing. And it's kind of trial by fire. So I would say going into it myself, we didn't really have any understanding of what we were going to face. We kind of had a raw understanding of what we were going to do, build an organization covering multiple games. And it's kind of like, the best laid plans of mice and men, it's, you don't really know what you're doing, but you have that plan and you just kind of, go at it. And from there, the challenges that we faced ultimately kind of just built us up and up and up. And from that, we learned how to manage teams, how to create structures, how to overcome issues that are just thrown at you. And that just kind of builds you along a path. It's definitely not something to do if you just want to do something easy in this industry. Being a team manager, being a staff member, player, content creator, none of them are easy, but it's definitely different than trying to build a whole project from scratch, similar to those that built Mobile Mayhem. It's not just something you wake up one day and you're like, let's build an empire.
Yeah. And I mean, what I think a lot of people don't realize is building a gaming organization with competitive teams, it takes you away from time to play games more than it gives you more time to play games, which is an interesting factor, right? You really need to be focused on the organization and its future and competition possibilities and all of that adds up to less time in the game.
It's an interesting dynamic because if you're just a shadow figure in the background, people aren't really going to connect with you. You're not really going to have a connection to the folks that are a part of the organization or are candidates or are being scouted. So it's kind of a dynamic of you have to be hands-on and also be hands-off, and finding that balance of like when to be hands-on, when to be hands-off. How do you juggle both? Often playing with players, staff members, whatever else to kind of humanize yourself and make sure that everybody knows,
build some relationships.
Yeah, and that you're not just like some scary, man behind the curtain.
You're not the suit.
Yeah, you're not like the Wizard of Oz just behind the curtain. They pull it open and they're like, wow, okay, this isn't what I expected. So there is a balance, but yeah, I mean, absolutely. Like the amount of time that I have and a lot of our high staff have to just like mess around and be like, oh, I'm out walking my dog. I'll like, open my phone at the end of it and like queue for a game. And then by the time I walk back in, I can play a game real quick in between that and coming back to my desk to work or
fitting it in.
Yeah, like, you're going out to do groceries or, whatever else. Like, okay, we'll just, throw in a game real quick. It's either that or like late at night. And most people are either like playing with a team or are already asleep for work the next day or it's the weekend.
Yep.
All right. Well, we are back, and it looks like we do have everybody loaded in for F4, so I believe we should be good to go for game number 1. Reminder, that is going to be hardpoint standoff. So we do have all of our players in, just waiting for one more player to get readied up, and then we should be good to go for game number 1.
Yeah, should be a good one to get into. Again, I think this is a little bit underrated of a matchup. Specifically, we're going to be looking at the likes of Minwoo up against Sleepyhead, as well as AO Raf up against... I don't know really who's going to be the primary sniper on the side of... Exiled at this point. I mean, we've kind of seen a couple of these players each pick up that mantle with varying degrees of success across the board. I will say they do have Pengi with them today, who, while we haven't seen a ton out of him, he did have a pretty sizable performance in the one matchup that we did see. Let me scroll on through. 7-7-1 specifically in the search and destroy was where he made his biggest splash. They did have a pretty tough matchup. I mean, looking at the board, most of the team was minorly negative in hardpoint. Sleepyhead, who's been their top fragger, the only one went positive with 32 and 29. So definitely something to keep in mind. We'll have to see if Pengi can have a big impact in search for them. But so far, a F4 lead to start this game.
Yeah, it's looking pretty even off the start. Raph trying to make his way on into the hard point up top of Grandma's, but the sticky nade going to go in, force him to move on downstairs, laying down some shots on the X-Fall, not able to get the frag. It looks like right now F4 probably going to make the move to reposition and get control for P2, but definitely some early flyers coming on in as we do have Exiled making their way on in as well. I don't understand how Sleepyhead was able to win that gunfight. He's not able to win the follow-up, but definitely a nice push going in right there. Uzu gets a double kill and a major assist, and that's going to open things up big time for Exiled right there. One player on the point. They got control of spawns as well, as they'll be spawning gas station. Everybody's spawning opposite side for F4 right here, and this definitely looks like a big opportunity, but they actually allowed Raph to sneak his way into the upstairs. He's going to be able to get another kill on the point as well. Just like that, F4 able to get the break on into the point.
Yeah, still very even between these two teams. 34-33 currently. We do finally have a slight break for the side of Exiled. A couple players now making the rotation over. Curve should be able to pick up an easy kill there. He does get the kill onto Sleepyhead, and that'd be pretty big for them. Uzu with a last-second nade middle gunfight is going to survive 1 HP as the grenade detonation picks up the kill for him. And that is going to buy them a little bit of extra uncontested time on that hard point. So they will extend their lead by 22, but still nothing that F4 can't come back from. And a lot of QQ9s in play right now. Specifically 10 of them. A lot.
Yep, and it is going to be Exile retaking the lead right here, 55-46. Nade's going up on into the top, but Raph is going to be kind of the lone wolf right here, trying to make his way on into the point. Players all around right now for F4, but nobody in position to make the break on in. We see players up on the rooftop, not going to be able to get in right here. X-Ball laying down the shots on the outside. Looks like Exiled might be able to create a little bit of gap right here as on the kill department. Everybody's staying relatively even right now, and it looks like F4 are going to go ahead, give up the rest of the scrap time, set up for P4 right here. X-Fall on the back side of the point from Box is able to push on in. That's 1 kill in for him already, and it looks like F4 got a little bit too distracted with their players pushing out and forgot to leave somebody on the point. They are able to get somebody back in there right now with Raph holding down those hay bales. He's not going to be able to get the frag onto Uzu. Ran out of ammo. So many bullets used. No kills able to go in, though. And it is going to be F4 still holding down the hard point for the time being. No surprise. We do see 10 QQ9s in play right now. It's been a pretty back and forth game so far, and looks like that will continue to be the case. But with Uzu dropping the Pred on in right there, that double is going to make the hold a lot easier for Exiled.
Yeah, absolutely. And just as a reminder to everybody, we do have bans on the PP19 as well as the DRH, so that is why we have no compact miniguns in the game currently. The lead is starting to develop a little bit more for the side of Exiled. They've had really strong rotations. And with the hardpoint changes, I will say that Standoff is actually one of the maps that I think did receive some helpful spawns without as many hurtful spawns. So definitely something to keep in mind. There is some sketchiness to some of the points, but Uzu is just on it with the frags today. Picks up the kill onto Ingenic. Is going to be there to hold down time currently, but as we do have a bit of a break for the side of F4, they will start to pick up some points and neutralize the pretty sizable lead that has developed for Exiled currently. They're sitting down about 50, but absolutely still doable. Raph with a big double kill there, and this has been, at the beginning there, a pretty solid hold for the side of F4, but it looks like Exiled will be starting to make their break. Looking at the kill disparity, it's semi-even across the board, but Ingenic specifically is the one struggling on the side of F4. If he's able to turn his game around a little bit, we may actually potentially see a comeback out of F4, but if he's going to turn it around, he needs to turn it around quick, as the lead is starting to develop once again. About a 75, very close to 75-point lead for the side of Exiled, so they're in a great spot.
Yeah, they're currently doubling up on F4 right now, and it looks like they are set up for the rotation into P2 once again. And it just seems like in regards to the rotations, in pretty much every aspect possible, they've been doing a better job than F4. There has been one or two times where F4 had the setup. I think the one that sticks out is the rotation onto P4. But they did get broken pretty quickly, and that was actually one of the biggest gains that we saw go in for Exiled right there, because F4 was not able to hold that. So we do continue to see Exiled move upward. 4 curves having a little bit of trouble moving up into the hill. The cryo bomb goes up to the top. Not going to be able to slow them down quite yet, but this is a very congested hardpoint. Curves gets 1 frag, immediately taken out by the nade. Nobody's able to get any trophy systems down. Too many people rocking the cryo bomb. This is absolute chaos. Finally, F4 able to get some of that scrap time to go in right there. Not going to be able to win the gunfight, but it'll keep them in the game, at least for the time being, as that moves the lead to about 60 points. But once again, it is Exiled already pushed out for the rotation onto P3. They've got 2, maybe 3 players already set up on the hill. One of them is Sleepyhead, who has been fragging out 23 kills on the board. He's got a cluster strike as well. And I think this rotation could potentially be the dagger to F4, especially with the hold they've got right now, the gunfights that they're winning. I'm not sure F4 is even going to be able to touch the hard point.
Yeah, it doesn't look great. And while the QQ9 obviously a really strong gun right now, especially with the Bison and the DRH band, I'm surprised we don't have anybody running any ARs, and specifically looking for those long cross-street picks. Obviously we have snipers banned in hardpoint, so you're not going to be seeing any presence of that, but just with the rotations these teams have been making, I mean, there's a lot of potential where if you get kind of up top of the bakery there, I can see a team really being able to kind of tie down some of these rotations, and maybe that's something F4 should consider here as we move forward. Now that we're, rotating over here, it is a little bit less ideal. Since everybody's going to be converging on this, there's a lot of areas to watch from top, especially since you have multiple ways to get up there. But so far it is F4 on the point. We do have Ingenic spawning behind Xfall. Got a couple bullets there. Not really a whole lot of impact, but may be able to hold down boxes for his team. As well as from this side, you have a pretty quick sight line across the bakery there. So definitely be keeping an eye out for that. Ingenic not really picking it up the way I'd like to see. He is up at 12 kills, which is double digits, which is not too far behind Xfall. But with Dylan also being at the same kills as Xfall, someone's got to pick up some weight if they want to make the comeback here. They're sitting down still about 70 points, actually about 80 points. So this is slowly but surely looking to be an Exiled game. It's just a matter of which hard point is it going to end on at this point.
Yeah, and that was a solid hold for F4. I think they were able to gain 10 to 20 points right there, but the thing is, when you're this late in the game, it's only 30 points away from Exiled closing it out. You really can't afford to have hard points where you only gain 10 to 20 points, because with the way that Exiled's playing right now, anytime they're able to get the initial setup for the point, they're going to be able to gain at least that much, if not more. And we do see, actually it is F4 getting the break right here, but it looks like the instant break back. Sleepyhead, 30 kills, top fragging for his team alongside Pengi, but two other players not far behind at all. Rabalo hits 30, Uzu at 29. Right now, all the kills going in, the 1v1s being won by Exiled. And it is going to be a huge double nade, but Sleepyhead calls in the cluster strike, and that could be the end of the game right here for F4.
Well, it is a minor break in the last 10 seconds or so from F4, but not going to hold it long enough. Ooh, they got back on point to prevent it 1 point shy, but F4 cannot afford to make a mistake here, and the mistake is already made. And that is going to be the end of game 1 with a pretty sizable 250 to 141 lead for the side of Exiled. I believe you called it the 100-point club last week, Bobby. So we'll stick with that. Sleepyhead, no surprise, leading the team there in score. Not super far ahead of Rabalo or Uzu, but you know, again, you just at this point with the player that Sleepyhead has proven to be this season, no surprise for him there. 32, 24, and 14. And leading on the side of F4 was Raf and Minwoo. So nothing out of the ordinary over there, but Ingenic and Dylan definitely having quite a bit of struggle in that matchup. 18 and 30 and 17 and 31. So you would expect Exiled to probably come through with a 2-0 win here. I felt going into this, if F4 had an opportunity, it was going to be in hardpoint. And that's specifically kind of looking on over at our KDAs. Minwoo, the only positive player as far as Search and Destroy goes, with a 1.02. So for all intents and purposes, it's basically neutral there. And it drops off pretty heavily down from there. The next highest on the team is actually Fusion with a 0.67 KD in Search. We don't have with us here today. And from there, it drops down to a 0.61 and then even lower from there. So unfortunately, not a super strong Search and Destroy team. If you look at their hardpoint KDAs, there's a lot more players that are kind of closer to the neutral mark at that point. But again, there's a lot of talent on this team. This roster needs some time and definitely needs to get some practice in. I'd like to see them in the future, you know, try to get more scrims with some of the better teams. And I don't know their scrim schedule. Maybe they are. But that is definitely one way to improve yourself, is to give yourself the harder challenge in your practice. So
yeah, and I think
I
think you made a good point in that there definitely could be a lot more strategy, like you talked about, pulling out some of those ARs, especially on the rotations into specific hard points like P4 up on top of shops. Having somebody to be able to hold down those long angles can give you a really big advantage over a team that is running 5 SMGs. Another thing I noticed, they didn't really have any dedicated OBJ player. Everybody pretty much had the same amount of OBJ time, like 30 to 50 seconds right there. And it shows, like, kind of their game plan is everybody pick up a gun, run at the hard point, hope you can win enough kills to be able to win it, and that's just not going to make the cut against this level of competition. So you do hope to see them be able to improve in that hard point strategy, and obviously that's part of the reason that you have this, for these teams to be able to have the opportunity to go up against some of these top teams, see their strategy, learn from it, and try to be able to adapt to it. We are getting ready to hop into Search and Destroy. That's going to be over on Raid. Obviously, we don't have Rihan, and he's actually been out for the last few weeks, so I don't know if he's going to be making an appearance at all the rest of the season. I think this is either their second to last or their last game of the season, so would have liked to see him make more appearances, especially with how solid his sniping performances were in Search and Destroy. But there is always next season, as basically the chance of making the playoffs completely eliminated for both of these teams at this point. And right now, they're just playing for the bragging rights.
Yeah, Exiled have a bye on Thursday, and Shredit have a bye on Thursday. F4 will be playing up against Mayhem, so again, kind of not an ideal matchup for them, but, you know, again, there's talent on this team. They just definitely need some time to refine their skills, refine their teamwork. We've seen pretty big breakout games for F4. I mean, again, F4 has struggled in the points department. They're sitting down currently at 35. But they have made some of the upper teams really fight for their wins, so definitely a lot of potential coming out of them, either as a team or as individual players in the future, depending on, you know, what rosters look like going into next season. Obviously, there's a lot to be left on the table there. And we'll see all of these teams change their rosters to some degree moving into the next season. So we'll have to see where all of that goes, but that's obviously a conversation for a later date when some of those names start to congregate onto certain teams, which we will have no idea until it happens. So we will be getting ready to get into our Search and Destroy game here. Again, this will be where the snipers are once again allowed, and with everybody loading on in, it looks like we've got Curves currently with the sniper over on the side, and potentially X-Fall sniping for the side of Exiled. So I have to see if Exiled are able to pick up their win here. Again, looking at the KDAs, you would definitely expect them to be the stronger Search and Destroy team. But again, I mean, kind of overall, I feel like the gun skill is fairly even between these two teams, and so far Exiled has just been a little bit more of a consistent team in the teamwork department, I guess is the easiest way to put it. They have tighter rotations, they've had earlier rotations, so definitely still a lot of game ahead of us, but this is definitely well expected to be a 2-0 win for Exiled at this point.
Yep, X-Fall trying to hop up and see if he can find somebody on the rotation across pool. That is a very tight angle. Had he been able to hit something right there, I would have been pretty impressed. It actually is going to be Curves finding first blood right here. So F4 able to get the bomb down and able to get their positioning over on basketball court. Pengi is able to get the trade in right there. Angenic drops, Curves drops, Raph drops. Dylan and Minwoo going to be the only ones remaining. Dylan able to find a refrag right there, but the pinch going in from basketball side. He is going to be able to find another one, but not quite enough to be able to close that one out. It is going to be Sleepyhead getting final frag, and the defuse is going to go in for X-Fall as Exiled takes the 1-0 lead.
Yep, and again, not really a huge shock there. Exiled is going to open up with some strong plays. We did see a couple of really good picks for the side of F4, though. Dylan was able to find a double kill, as well as Curves picking up an individual there as well. So again, there are signs of life from this team. There's definitely potential where they could possibly pull a win here, or at least push us into later stages. A really aggressive push coming out of F4 over A side is going to be absolutely great for them. And again, this is where the lower tier teams are typically going to find their advantage, and especially on maps that are spaced out like this. And we saw it right there. Exiled sent 2 players to check B, and the hard rush coming out of F4 was able to make the break into point, get the bomb planted. It's now just Sleepyhead and X-Fall, and maybe just now Sleepyhead, as X-Fall does make a rotation there into Minwoo. And Dylan going to pick up kill on Sleepyhead there, so great plays coming out of F4 that round.
Yep, that'll even us up at 1 apiece. Minwoo and Dylan accounting for 7 of the 8 kills going in for F4 right there. Definitely a much better looking performance for them. Based on what I saw right there, I definitely expect for them to continue to make the hard push on over to A, but Obviously, they're going to sit back, play it a little more passive. On this map, I typically would say that's going to go in your disadvantage. Obviously, the longer the opposing team has to figure out where you've gone, the more they can set up for defense, as there's just a lot of really solid defensive angles that you can hold on this map. Sleepyhead is going to get beamed as Minwoo's sitting in the corner right there. Xfall trying to get the spray over top the wall, not able to make it happen. We got 4 players remaining for each team, and probably Exiled with a decent idea of what the push is going to look like for F4 right here. But they're actually going to make the counter rotation back on over to A again. However, Xfall seems to be pretty aware of it and definitely in a spot where he could find somebody on that cross. Unfortunately for him, not aware of the players rotating poolside. They're going to get a free rotation. 1 kill going in for each team once again. Uzu taking some shots, but he is going to be able to survive, get the frag, and Genic slides in. 2 players remain for each team. 1 sniper for each as well. Xfall not able to spot anybody right here. The bomb's going to go down onto A. Raballo takes the initial shots. He's going to go ahead and get beamed. Xfall hits 1. Now in a 1v1 against Ingenic, who does have a QQ9 in hand. Had he taken that wallbang shot, he might have been... Oh, he hits the wallbang initially! Can he get the follow-up right here as well? But Ingenic sprays through the door with the QQ9, and he's able to clutch up right there. That will give round 3 to F4 as well.
What an unfortunate situation to be in for Xfall there. Hits the wallbang, started to turn away because I don't think he expected to actually get the hit, and I think that cost him some time. It did definitely allow for a little bit of a counterplay there, and the setup was good. This time around, F4 once again looking good. The very fast hard commit onto the B plant is going to get them the plant. They do lose out on Dylan there as Raballo picks up that kill. But with only 30 seconds on the clock and 4 members alive, this 4v4, make it a 4v3, make it a 4v2, F4 filling up the feed. It is now just Xfall once again, and F4 making a pretty big turnaround here.
Yeah, and Xfall took the initial shots, and he said, I'm not going to spray it, but with only 10 seconds remaining, he doesn't really stand much of a shot at clutching this. 4 players right here. Best he can really hope to do is find a couple kills. He finds 1 right there. Does find a second one as well, so boosting his stats, and shoots a body as well. Not sure that's what I would do as I'm losing a round and now find myself down 1-3, but we still got a good amount of time remaining right here. We'll see if F4 can maintain the strong pushes that they've been able to. And it looks like they're pretty content to just keep swapping back and forth from side to side, now making the push on over to A. Looks like only 1 person there to defend in Uzu. Trying to push on through the smokes right here. Dylan not going to see anybody on top of stairs side. And it is going to be F4 with the free push on in once again. 1 player drops for each team. Raballo trying to find something on the back side of the wall. But the bomb is down right next to that A site. Pengy slides in, actually able to take out Dylan. Things kind of falling apart right here for F4. Sleepyhead's going to get the final kill. And it is Exiled able to find 1 more round before we switch sides.
Yeah, but we do have actually a really strong performance coming out of F4. Again, I didn't expect them to put up as big of a fight as they had, especially coming largely out of Ingenic, who is, you know, the player who seemingly struggled the most in the hardpoint matchup. Is up at 6 kills to lead all players. Well, I guess he was tied with Pengy, and now Pengy picking up the kill on the Minwoo is going to give him the lead. But still, massively better performance coming out of Ingenic here. I mean, he has essentially almost half of the kills that he had in the hardpoint, so definitely something to keep in mind. 7 on the board for him currently. Dylan and Raph alive with him, but this is certainly going to be a tough one. I can't believe Ingenic wasn't able to find the kill there. Has another player incredibly low. Does get the 1-for-1 trade there, but unable to get the kill onto Pengy, which may have been able to help him clutch that up. But it's now 3-3 as 2 rounds in a row go over to the side of Exiled. And again, Pengy 9 kills on the board. He had a big search and destroy performance comparative to their matchup last time we saw him, and he is having a great performance right now.
Yeah, Curves is actually able to find a 2-piece off the start. That's going to be huge. He's over on A site right now, so it looks like they tried to make the full send on in, and it backfired pretty... Whoa. That was one of the fastest rounds I have ever seen. Things fell apart real quick for Exiled right there. Seemed like they were starting to pick things up over on the offensive side, but obviously the initial 2-piece from Curve's going to slow that down pretty significantly, and just like that, F4 finds themselves back on top.
Yeah, I mean, F4 are showing up in a big way here. Pengi finds kill number 10, survives briefly with 1 HP, but it's Dylan picking up the double kill there. It is now a 3 versus 3 once again. We do have Bomb in control for Rabalo, with Uzu picking up the kill onto Dylan there. It is now a 3-2 lead as far as player lives go. And with the plant coming out of Rabalo, you think this is definitely a great position for Exile to be in, especially as Xfall picks up the kill onto Curves, who is rotating mid. It's now just Minwoo who's making the rotation over right into 3 members, more specifically right into a sniper bullet. And that's going to be 4-4 Exiled to F4.
Yeah, it looked like Minwoo might have had a couple opportunities to find something right there, but just wasn't quite able to make it happen. And it looks like it is going to be actually a mid-push going in for Exiled right here. It's 4 players going stairs. They all get concussed at the same time. If you don't get trophy systems down right there, it's going to be tough to win, but Pengi going to be able to win at least one gunfight. Keep in mind, it is going to be a 2v4 right here, getting shot from behind. He's going to get taken down. And all the pressure is on for Xfall right here as he finds himself in a 1v4 with a sniper in hand. That means he is going to need some deadly accuracy, and with one shot giving away his location, it just doesn't really stand much of a shot right here. Dylan's going to send a nade up top, and F4 only 1 round away to pushing this to a game 3.
Again, I told you this team does have talent, and when they show up, they can show up big. And they're, as mentioned, 1 round away from potentially finding a win here. Ingenic is up at 10 kills. Double digits for him in search is absolutely huge. Again, he kind of finished at 17 kills in the hard point. So this is proportionally a much bigger game for him. Rabalo, with a really aggressive A-side push, is going to pick up the kill there. Pengi finds kill number 12. This is looking really good for the side of Exiled. As I say that, Dylan does pick up a kill, making it a 3-3. Rabalo makes the push up, looking for the bomb pickup, and walks him and Uzu into a double kill. Absolutely huge there. Xfall does get the kill onto Dylan, but now in a 1 versus 2 with bomb down. This is a increasingly difficult position for him to be in. He's up against 2 players that both have double digits. He does see the arm peek out there, but he's unable to find the bullet to connect over the head glitch. Takes a couple bullets, but will make it out safe. He's looking for the quick scope there. Not going to find it to connect, and now with 8 health, this is a dead Xfall, and F4 able to push us into a game 3. Exiled dropping the ball big.
Yeah, I thought they were going to be able to close that one out, but just too much firepower. And really, it was even Exiled who had an advantage there. I think they had a 1 or 2 man advantage going into the end, and they just weren't really able to convert it. I saw Pengi basically cost him his life because he tried to push into kitchen without checking the floor right next to where he saw somebody drop below for F4. So just some really small mistakes starting to stack up in a really big way for Exiled right there. And that is going to result in our first game 3 of the day. Despite Pengi's 12-8, Xfall's 10-5, not quite enough, as a lot of struggles toward the bottom of the leaderboard for them. 2 players double negative, 1 triple negative, and really solid game for F4 right there. That's going to give us our first game 3.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, I told you right from the start, Bobby, this is a massively underrated matchup between these 2 teams. And I'm glad that they were able to push it to a game 3. Minwoo and Ingenic with crazy good performances here. 11-5, 10-6, able to carry them through the search and destroy. And, you know, again, I'm excited to see a game 3 any day of the week, just because you get to get a little bit more content to the stream, who is never satisfied. And, you know, again, between two teams that are pretty evenly matched, just makes for a good day of broadcast.
Yep. Game number 3, correction, is going to be on firing range. So we're getting ready to hop into that. That's kind of not necessarily the go-to domination map, but I feel like it is the favorite domination map for most people on the competitive side of Call of Duty Mobile. So just waiting for our players to get readied up. It'll be good to hop into that one. We do have 2 more matchups to close out the night. It is going to be Zygnus versus Shredit in our next matchup, and 11T versus Vitro for the final matchup of the night. So make sure not to go anywhere. We also got the quarterfinals and the semifinals happening next week. Those will be live on the channel. And then in the week following, we will have the finals and the All-Star game. So lots ahead for all you Mobile Mayhem fans.
Yeah, definitely a lot of really good content ahead of us. We've got a couple big names still ahead of us tonight, but again, I think Thursday has potentially 3 really solid matchups, especially if F4 are able to show up against Mayhem like they are currently up against Exiled. We have Mayhem versus F4 on Thursday. We have Invictus versus Zygnus Elite on Thursday. And Tribe versus 11D on Thursday. Zygnus Black versus Vitro, probably the least exciting of the matchups to me. But Vitro, even though they're down at currently 0 score, I'm sure I've mentioned it before, Bobby, they do not have the lowest KDAs across the board. And they have really pushed a couple of the upper half teams in ways we didn't expect them to. So who knows? Maybe Vitro will show up big and Zygnus Black will slack a little bit. I mean, that could potentially even be a good matchup at that point.
Yep. We are underway. I cannot find my mouse for some reason. Oh, there it is. I found it. We do actually see an early double cap going in for F4 right here. With the way that the respawns went, wasn't really expecting to see that, but they do seem to have pretty solid control of the map right now. Players in top of 10. We do see Exile make the push on over for Trailer, and that should open things up for them to start getting a little bit of progress over onto B, but they're going to need to take out these 2 players in those top positions before they're going to be able to do a whole lot about it. We see a couple of ticks going in, but it is going to be Dylan waiting in that top side back there. Laying down shots onto X-Fall. He's going to be able to find a frag. And it's actually going to be a triple cap going in for F4 right there. So it was Exile so focused on getting into position to try to get the retake onto B that they completely forgot to pay attention to A. And just like that, F4 is able to build a 20-point lead right off the bat.
Yeah, F4, again, showing up big today where we didn't expect them to. They currently have the double cap, but with Exiled on it, they may potentially get the retake here. They need to do it quick if they're going to. Dylan, not quite in tower, but on the little beam walkway between, is able to fend it off, and we actually had a solid triple cap there for a couple seconds coming out of F4, so big games for these guys. Uzu almost able to pick up a kill there, is going to make the rotation. Don't get turned down. Kill onto AORAF. And double cap now going in favor of Exiled. I think they need, for the most part, a full double hold here to make the comeback before the second half starts. Obviously, with no assistance, as well as only the Pred Missile and Cluster Strike available. You definitely are looking at not a whole lot of opportunity for second half score streaking the way we've seen in the past with the VTOLs and things of that nature. So definitely got to get the grips together. 42-66 currently in favor still of F4, who are looking to, potentially take the minor upset. I mean, again, these teams aren't super far away in points. And again, for the most part, they're not really in the running for. Actually, Exiled is out. They had to win 2-0 to win to even have a chance against Trovo Mayhem. Yeah, that's a rough spot to be in for Exiled getting pushed to a game 3. That might, I'm pretty sure that completely knocks them out because they have a bye on Thursday.
Yeah, definitely unfortunate for them, especially despite the fact that they've had a solid performance, and Sleepyhead's already moving up to 19 kills right here. He's got a cluster strike. He's already cycled his second pred as well, so he's finally going to get taken out off of his streaks, but this has been a pretty big turnaround for Exile, given how much they struggled in the initial seconds of the game. Rabala's going to slide through, finds another kill onto the B flag. That should secure B control for pretty much the rest of the half for them, especially with him pushing on over to trailer right here, taking some more map control. Raph going to be able to beam, but you would imagine that probably not. There's just so much firepower going in for Exiled, right? I mean, Sleepyhead alone, 20 kills on the board with that 7 ahead of the next most, and just continuing to fry. And with the HVK, we do see a lot of these players still using the QQ9. Also, big respect to the Ingenic pulling out the Silence GKS. Personally, probably my favorite sound in the entire game. Just a beautiful sound. Actually, the loadout that Tectonic dominated with in COD M Champs, we actually do see some body shooting right there. Is Pingy and Exile going to be able to close out the half on a really, really big high note, and somehow still able to be the first team to reach 100 points.
I told you they needed to hold that the entire time to have the chance moving forward to get the lead back. And it was very, very close, but they do go into the second half with a couple-point lead. And, again, we'll have to see if F4 can pull it together here. They came out of the gate looking great. They had about an 8 or so second triple cap going for them. And then, obviously, off of that, we had Exiled make the comeback and take the lead back in their favor. So still a big game ahead of these two teams. And still anybody's game.
Yeah, Minwoo's trying to find Pengy right here, and it really is just a waiting game at this point. Pengy doesn't even care. He said, you can wait as long as you need to. We got the double cap. The pressure's on you. I don't know if he went AFK or what. Minwoo's going to lay down some additional shots over toward that back truck right there. Not able to get the kill, but at least being able to clear out trailer and be able to get the push up toward 10. It's a good start, but with Sleepyhead playing the way that he is, somebody else is going to have to just absolutely go in for F4 if they're going to have a shot right here. He's already got a cluster strike alongside the 28 kills he's been able to find. Meanwhile, Raph still not in the double digits yet. He does finally make his way in there as he takes out Pengy. But Dylan hops on in. He's going to be able to find another kill and actually a decent feed going in for F4 right there. So that could open up an opportunity. They get C, but immediately A is going to be flipped back for Exiled right here. Dylan still trying to find a frag. Not going to be able to do it. Pengy takes him out. And once again, it is Exiled maintaining that double cap.
Yeah, and we're starting to get into really uncomfortable situations for the side of F4, at least for making the comeback here. With the double cap still in favor of Exiled, you definitely starting to look at the score here. They're across the 150 mark. They're about 25 ahead, so we're getting real close to triple cap territory for the side of F4. At least some amount of time of triple cap, because with only 40 points to go for the side of Exiled and 70 points to go, you're the better part of like 15 seconds away from a really uncomfortable spot. We do have the B take for F4 as well as halfway through on the A cap. They still could make the comeback here, but with B looking like it could possibly go over to Exiled here, we have got to see some work coming through out of F4. There is absolutely still potential. The A cap is going to go back over to the side of Exiled. F4 maintained control of B, but they quickly quickly need a double cap here, as we're 29 points away on the side of Exiled and just a little under 60 points. So we are just about to be in triple cap territory if we're not crossing into it right now. Pengi with a triple kill. He pushed on to B. This is gonna seal the deal for Exiled if they're able to secure the B lock-in. Oh, it was so close. There it is there, and that is going to be the win going over to Exiled. There is not time on the board for the triple cap to come through, and even if it does, there's not time on the board for them to realistically make the comeback and hold it for that long. So that is going to be a Exiled 2-1 win, which will bump them up to 60 points, 5 points shy of Treble Mayhem, and F4 will bounce themselves up to 40. And again, I think F4 has a lot of talent, and they came through and proved it in a big way here today. And you know, we'll look forward to seeing some of these guys in our next season.
Yeah, definitely a good performance from them in Domination 2. They weren't really necessarily losing that many of their gunfights. They just waited a little bit too long to any type of progress or map control to be able to get B back. We actually saw Minwoo making some hero plays over there on mid, but wasn't quite able to do it for long enough to help his team get the win right there. And that is going to be, as he said, the 2-1 victory for Exiled. Sleepyhead with 36, dominating the field. Got to give credit to Ingenic. Not only was he using the Silence GKS, but also got the MVP, 8 flag caps, 21-7. Obviously not super positive, but playing the OBJ to the best that he could. But definitely a solid end to the season for an Exiled team who struggled a lot off the start, but definitely shaped up their team more and more throughout the season.
Yeah, and again, I think both of these teams have a lot of potential. This just wasn't their season, unfortunately, to show it. So we'll have to see as we move into our next season. Again, you know, probably see a lot of these players come through on challenger teams. But I think that there's definitely an argument for some of these guys that some of the upper teams definitely need to keep an eye out. You know, again, Sleepyhead has been really just a star for Exiled all season long. Obviously, we have Raballo making the transition to phone. He's been a big player in Mobile Mayhem previously. AO Wrath, pretty solid player on the side of F4. Minwoo has had some great performances as well. So it should be an exciting next season, Bobby.
Yep. That is going to close out game number 2. We actually have a 3-part interview, so I'm going to go ahead and play part number 2 while we work on getting the rest of our players loaded in here, and hopefully by the time we get back, we will be good to go to start up match number 3.
So what were some of the first games that you entered the competitive space as an organization with?
So coming from the prior organization that we worked with on August 10th of 2019, we had a Brawl Stars well entrenched in Brawl Stars since its global launch. We also had a Call of Duty mobile team coming from the beta, and we had originally a Fortnite mobile group, RIP Fortnite Mobile, which is gone now, so you know that kind of got taken off the table. And then from that, we quickly branched into Clash of Clans early on, Clash Royale. Obviously, since COD Mobile has taken off more, Wild Rift is now out. We also platformed over to PC console to an extent, but that's kind of a beast of a different name.
Sure. So you've got some interest in Wild Rift. I know that like with the North America launch, that's really kind of caught fire among a lot of mobile players, and I think it's got a really interesting future as well.
It's an interesting game, but I've taken it as similar to the dynamic of Valorant.
Okay.
When it came out, a lot of people were very, very quick to rush to Valorant because it was, you know, something new. It's something interesting. Everybody likes the shiny new object. Even, you know, Overwatch players retiring and Counter-Strike players retiring to hop over to Valorant. I'm not quite sure who it was, but there was an interview from a Counter-Strike source to CS:GO coach, like a longtime coach, was like, you don't, like, as an org, it's not wise to just jump into a game right off the bat, because it takes a year to a year and a half for a game to really stabilize, to see who's actually going to be here for the long haul, who's going to be good continuously and not just good from the start. And like, a lot of people will be kind of like late adopters. They'll come in after meta settles and there's game changes. So Wild Rift definitely is going to be exciting. It brings one of the largest titles in the world to mobile, but it still has a ways to go. The meta has a way to evolve. We'll have to see how events and everything develop. So we're kind of just patiently sitting and watching at this point.
Yeah, yeah. And, for a lot of folks, that was the case with Call of Duty Mobile. Coming out of the beta, had a lot of promise, a lot of excitement. And then as the game developed and balance changes happen, new weapons introduced, and a lot of people get behind the game once they realize it's got some momentum, the competitive scene starts up in a much bigger way. And I think that's kind of where we are now, with tournament series like Mobile Mayhem really taking off and gaining a lot of popularity, and a lot of really high skill players as teams trying to compete in events. Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, I would say that's exactly what kind of adopted the model we have to Wild Rift, because we came from the beta. For example, we played in what was originally like Pro League, Mobile Pro League, which is gone now. We played in their preseason.
Oh, wow. Yeah. So at the beginning.
Literally right at the beginning, our team ultimately got picked up by Tribe, the NA team, because we were such infants as an organization. We just couldn't retain teams and whatnot. So we've us, Tribe, Nova, at the time a couple of others were the first organizations. At that time we were kind of little beta fish in the pond, so I wouldn't even really call us an org at that time, but same name, so we're one of the longest running in the game. But it's kind of it's a marathon, not a sprint. If you're going to jump in early, you can't just, go all in and just devote everything, because things change. Even COD Mobile, it's been a slow build. It's frustrating to see how Champs is slowly developing. BR hasn't had the support. It's had to do with a lot of community support, but it's getting there, and it does have a long life.
Yeah, I think so too. So, and one of the biggest questions that anybody watching might have for an organization owner is, how do you get on the radar of an organization as a player? So do you guys typically look for, if you're looking to add a team or sort of venture into a new game, are you looking to pick up a team that's already formed and playing together, or are you looking at individual players as free agents? Kind of how does that go from the organization owner perspective, recruiting people?
It's kind of like building a house, right? You can't just take a bunch of pieces of wood and just throw them together and call it a house. You have to build a foundation first. So realistically, there needs to be, it's not just player skill. Like, you can take, the top 4 or 5, however many players in the world, and just smash them together, and they can just have no chemistry, not like each other, not listen to each other, and the team flops. Doesn't mean the team is bad or that the players are bad. It just means that they can't mesh together to build something. Sure. So having at least a base of a team that has chemistry and compete together is the first part. And then ultimately, in combination with that, kind of watching prospect players and those that come up to bolster a roster, because there's always going to be people who kind of lose focus or lose interest or don't necessarily mesh or aren't as good under pressure. There's a lot of possibilities and dynamics that come into play. So it's a bit of both. But if you're looking as a team or a player to get signed, number one, no disrespect to anybody, but scrim results just don't count. Like, that's practice. You need to put some results on the board in events, because at the end of the day, if you want to go to the pro level, it's about event results. If you're the best team in scrims, but you lose in every event, then you're not the best team. So event results are very important. Being able to show up in high pressure situations and execute is number one. And number two, the ability to evolve and adapt. There's no game that is just like this game that you have right now is how it's going to be forever. Metas change, players change. You can have a team that you're like, oh, these guys are bad. They're not good players and whatever, and their chemistry just supersedes you. Like under pressure, they make perfect call outs, they're hitting everything, and even sometimes players are like, oh, they're hacking. It's just like, no, their calls are on point.
They're built to show up on game day.
Yep, you like a quarter inch of your head peeks a corner and they pre-shot it and you're gone. And that chemistry can even be more important than skill. So I'd say it's a variety of factors. Gun skill is not enough. Chemistry is not enough. The ability to adapt is not enough. You kind of have to put it into like a pyramid of skills and abilities and find others that you click with to do the same.
Yeah.
We are back and working on getting our teams loaded in. We got everybody here for Zygnus main, but still waiting for a couple players to join for Shredit. For those of you who are newer to Mobile Mayhem, Shredit is one of the newer teams, but has definitely made some bigger strides this season. Taking a look at our standings real quick. They are the closest coming into today to making it past Trovo Mayhem to be able to snag one of those spots in the quarterfinals. Keep in mind the quarterfinals are for the top 3 through 6 teams. So it looks like if we were to move forward right now, it would be Trovo Mayhem up against Zygnus main and 11T versus Nova Invictus, but you do also have to keep in mind Zygnus main has not yet played today and could potentially pass up Zygnus Black, and we do also have to take into account Thursday's games as well. So still a lot of things that could potentially change before we move into the quarters and the semifinals. We do have our Shredit players getting loaded in right here. And it is going to be Hardpoint Hackney Yard for game number 1. We'll take a look at the maps and the bands real quick. We do have Hardpoint Hackney Yard game number 1. Firing Range Search and Destroy number 2. And if we go to a game 3, it will be Summit Dom. No surprise, and this has kind of been the expectation for the majority of the games, but hadn't seen it in the first couple. A ban on the QQ9 and the PP19, meaning probably see a decent amount of DRHs and probably a little bit more variety whenever it comes to the SMGs that these guys are going to be pulling out.
Yeah, you definitely would expect so. So we'll have to see as we move forward, especially I'm pretty excited, Bobby. I don't remember exactly where it came from, but I remember you mentioning, I think on either Tuesday or Thursday of last week, that someone was mentioning that the upcoming update is probably going to be one of the most balanced updates we've seen yet. So definitely got me excited for that as we get ready to move forward. But just waiting on one more player to load on in.
Dave, we don't have your face, by the way.
Oh, hey, we can do that. Also, I like the memes going on here.
Yeah, Shredit's name is, or the names of each of the players in the order that they're in the lobby is Thank for the Memories. It would have made more sense if it said Thanks for the Memories, but right. I like the thought that went in right there.
Maybe someone's coming in with just an S.
Maybe. Thanks for the Memories, Mayhem Heart. There we go. I'm guessing this might be the last season that Shredit is here as a team in Mobile Mayhem, just based off that one.
Look, we appreciate you guys being here. You guys are still in the running. Do not give up here. I mean, yeah, you're up against probably one of the tougher teams, and sometimes that's going to happen. But, hey, you guys are sitting 5 points behind Trovo Mayhem right now. This is still doable. This is still doable.
Wait. Zim, is it like a DQ as in they're not playing?
Oh, that's rough, guys.
As in all of them
All of
can't
them.
play?
All of them.
So they,
Oh, no.
okay, so we have everybody here for check-in purposes, but we already had a username lock. So, congratulations to Zygnus on your free 20 points.
So, such a heartfelt way to come into the stream, just to DQ yourself.
Yeah, unfortunate.
And hey, maybe that was the intent. I don't know. I'm gonna be honest with you. It looks like we might ask Zygnus if they will honor it and still play. So, hopefully that's the case. But Zim, we don't care if the whole league cries about it.
Yeah, they'll cry
I'm
about
gonna be honest
anything.
with you, we don't care.
They're Call of Duty players. They'll cry about anything.
Who do you care more about, right? Like, do you care that the other players may cry about it in a matchup of Shredit versus Zygnus Elite? Or you want to disappoint chat and tell them that they can't watch this epic game that's about to go on? Look,
Waiting.
chat, I'm here for you. Me and Bobby are here for you. We want to see it happen. Put all of your blame and fire at Zim.
No, put it at Shredit. Otherwise, it changed
No,
their
put it at
usernames.
Put it at Zim. Zim is the localized punching bag for Mobile Mayhem. He is here to take all of your blows.
Wait.
I agree with B. But at the same time, rules are rules. I get it. So
Let them eat
see what happens.
cake.
Let them eat cake.
Chat says yelp, right, guys?
Hey, looks like we're gonna
Yeah,
let
I think
'em play,
we got raids
boys.
from Zygnus players too. So at this point, you gotta let them play it out, you know?
Yeah. We got the A-OK to proceed, chat. Don't worry. All we had to do is harass Zim a little bit.
The secret to getting your way in life.
I mean, for all intents and purposes, right?
Yeah.
Shredit have a bye on Thursday. They're up against Zygnus Elite. They need to win at least one of these rounds to tie, but a tie doesn't do it. They have to win. Because again, they in the head-to-head matchup don't have the win over Mayhem, so you expect this one way or another to be their last game of the season. I mean, unless if just an absolute miracle happened, in which case you would then have some players on a specific team cry about it. But
Yeah.
we will have to see as we move forward.
Yeah. I'm not going to be able to give any breakdown on any of the teams for Shredit right here because everybody left.
Because the game is over! And Zygnus lose. Probably not.
One moment.
Okay, look. I'm gonna be honest with you guys here over on Shredit, right? I dig the shout out. You know, everybody here at Mobile Mayhem appreciates you guys being here. I'm sure everybody in chat appreciates you guys being here. Again, you guys put up some really big games. There's a lot of potential on you guys individually as you move forward, whether it's as a team or whether it's not. I still want to know after the stream if you guys could slide in my DMs and let me know who is who so I can update your guys' stats. 'Cause this makes it a little hard.
Yeah.
This makes it a little hard.
With the kill on the
Yeah, it's gonna be pretty difficult. I'm gonna go through and screenshot UIDs real quick.
I think 4 is just a bot. I think memories is time.
I don't remember.
Well,
But I'm
I
gonna
can tell
try
you
to-
for a fact that 4 is just a bot
Oh, can you?
because of his profile pic.
Oh, yeah.
Uh,
I have all the UIDs pulled up, so I can. Hopefully
No, I
that's
don't
it.
think there was a kill and they left. I think they just left.
Yeah, I don't think so.
I don't really know what happened. Well, okay.
Attempt number 2. I assume by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 you mean in the order of the lyrics, yeah? Sim?
I would assume that is the case. It is going to be a strong start for.
Or is it actually the player spot?
Okay.
Sorry.
Strong start for Zygnus right here. Awaken, Envoy, Irving finding a couple kills. Envoy's already up to 3 right there. Memory's trying to hop on through the doorway. The hops through that top window. And Irving going to be the solo man holding down the hard point, but it is going to be a break going in for Shredit right here. Thank going for the hop up on the boxes, but not going to be able to land the shot as he drops off right there. Envoy getting a little bit of this final scrap. Honestly, not even scrap time. They've got about half of the hard point remaining right here as they're able to continue to take upward. They don't really have much control moving over to next. That's going to be something they want to keep an eye out for. Mayhem Heart currently up in top of P2 while 4 is holding down things outside. S-Thug has the deagle with the red dot. That's just painful to look at for me personally. And it is Zygnus pushing out right here as the feed starts to fill up for them. S-Thug able to stay alive as he evades the bullets. Memories over there on the back side. He's going to get spotted by S-Thug, who slides the corner, finds Thank as well. And despite the frags going in, Shredit is able to hold it for the time being, but a lot of players pushing on in for Zygnus.
Alright, so we can confirm that 4 is Justbot, 2 or Mayhem is Salai, the is Time, 4 is / Memories is Vibin, and Thank / 5 is Ooper.
Zim, could you mute, please?
Yeah, that too.
All right.
It's always Zim's fault.
Yep, I believe it. So Oofer is the one with 7 kills right now?
Oofer is the one with 7 kills currently.
Okay.
We have Justbot with 7 as well.
All right. Well, the initial defense for Shredit was pretty good on P2, but once the break went on in for Zygnus, it was kind of all downhill from there, and S-Thug pretty well set up in the top of that building. Top frag alongside to Tio. 8 on the board for those two, and he tries to hit the hop up, not able to make it happen, but his teammate able to find the frag. Big feed goes in for Zygnus right there. S-Thug holding down this top side, able to find another one, make it 9 for him. And it is Zygnus continuing to move upward. Not really too surprising. They have been, without a doubt, a top 2 team so far this season. And really just solidifying things right here as they get a really strong hold onto P3.
Yeah, so far a pretty solid lead, to say the least, for Zygnus with 100 points here in the first half of the game. Justbot unable to find the kill onto S-Thug there, but I mean, again, this historically has just been S-Thug's map, hands down. No Fennec out of him today. That is the gun that he had pulled out the current Mobile Mayhem kill record with, so definitely something to keep in mind. With a big rotation coming out of S-Thug there, he's going to pick up a double kill to help clear out the point. And this is pretty overall one-sided there.
Yeah, he doesn't even have his cluster strike equipped, but at this point it doesn't really look like he needs it. He's got a Pred missile. I'm pretty sure he already would have cycled through to his cluster strike if he had it. Not quite able to win that gunfight, but 17 kills on the board. And his team continuing to stack upward as they find themselves in a 120-point lead. And it looks like Awaken going to try to make the push out as they look to rotate on over to P5 right here. Envoy finding one. Nate at the bottom of the stairs for good measure, not able to find a frag with it, but turns around, hitting some additional shots, and he's actually not done on this hard point yet. Already at 20 kills on the board. You got to think at this point, S-Thug's got to be one of the favorites, if not the favorite for MVP of Mobile Mayhem spring season.
Yeah, definitely one of them. if not the. There's definitely some other big names that we can, consider, but even then, I think some of the other ones are more fitting for things like Marksman of the Split. With the likes of Washi, who again has been a strong player in all modes for Zygnus Black, but yeah, I don't know if necessarily had the impact that S-Thug has. So we will have to see on that moving forward. Envoy actually had a great start this game as well. Irving, the only player really struggling currently for the side of Zygnus, and struggling is a pretty loose word with 8 kills for him, and he's still ahead of and or tied with 2 players on the side of Shredit here. Jusabot, the only player really taking off currently for the side of Shredit, which I don't think is any surprise there. 20 kills on the board for him. He's only 3 behind S-Thug currently. We do as well have Time and Oofer with 15 and 14 respectively. The and Thank for anybody else who is also confused. But overall, not a bad game, but also not necessarily anything out of the ordinary or anything we didn't expect, right? So.
Yeah. And S-Thug gonna go ahead on the little parkour around right there.
I was hoping you saw that.
Yeah, finds another kill, and he doesn't even seem remotely concerned with his score streaks right now. He's just letting that Pred missile sit there as he continues to stack him up. And while there definitely might be some other players who have had crazy performances throughout the season, I don't think there's been anybody who has consistently been at the top of the leaderboard the way that S-Thug has been for his team, and especially given the fact that it's not like it's one of the teams that's kind of in the middle of the pack or whatever, but currently a top 2 team. It looks like they will probably secure the number 2 spot, which means they will not have to play in the quarterfinals for the end of this season. We do see him calling that Pred missile in right there, able to get 1 kill out of it. Obviously, oh my gosh, did he just spawn right there? I think he spawned on the backside of that box right there, and he's going to be able to spray over onto Memories. Not able to get the frag, but obviously getting the assist right there. Spot Stank on the hop up over the fence, and a couple players for Shredit trying to make their way up right here. But with that nade going in right there, players pushing on in. He's going to be able to find kill number 29, and currently doubling up on Zygnus is Shredit. S-Thug with 31, Tatio with 26. Just across the board, so much consistency. 4 doing everything that he can. That is Jusabot, and he's really been the big carry for Shredit for the majority of the season, pulling out that QXR that's been his go-to the majority of the time, but just not quite enough, at least from what it looks like, as we do see a 120-point lead going in for Zygnus.
Yeah, and again, I don't think this is really out of the ordinary of what we expected. But man, I mean, again, this is just kind of S-Thug's map in general, so having to play the second best or potentially even the best team in the league, I mean, they're second for points, but they beat Tribe, who are in first, so there is definitely a strong argument whichever way you want to look at it, and again, he's just absolutely rocking. The gunfights that doesn't even look like he should win, he is just on the ball, as you mentioned, his parkour earlier, and now really just shows his knowledge of the map and his comfortability on the map. So, comfortability. Yeah. I'm just, my mind is it. Okay, look, I worked all day today. I have an excuse. I can't speak.
It's all good. It is Zygnus closing out that one. Obviously, S-Thug up at the top. 35 and 15. Good lord, what a performance for him in his does Zygnus have a bye on Friday?
Zygnus does not. It's Shredit and Exiled.
Okay. So he will have potentially another opportunity to play on Hackney Yard, but like we said, that's been his playground. That's where he set the kill record, and just seems every time they get a chance to play on that map, he really pops off for them. This is definitely going to be one of the teams to watch out for on the way into CODM Champs. Now, I don't know what it's going to look like for the split between Latin America and North America, because I know some of these players played in the LATAM regionals last year. Some played in the North American regionals. I know also this team combined to create an 18-plus roster. I assumed that was probably to create a champs-eligible team, but if they're in different regions, we'll have to wait and see. Obviously, Awaken and S-Thug to North American players, and then I believe Irving and Void Tio Latin American players. So, should be interesting to see how things shape up. I believe by the time that Mobile Mayhem summer season starts, will actually be on the intro into CODM Champs. Keep in mind that it will just be Stage 1. So, no teams required to be formed or anything like that. But definitely going to see a lot of these teams starting to solidify their rosters as they do start to prepare for 2021 champs.
Yeah, definitely a big opening game for Zygnus here. And, S-Thug, 35, 15, 11. Great performance out of him. Tio, 28, 18, and 8. Finding his groove a little bit more even this season. So pretty solid coming out of them. And, again, Jusabot or 4 over here on the side of Shredit, putting up a very respectable 30, 24, and 4 as well. Those are great numbers, especially with the competition they're up against. So, again, there's great players on a lot of these teams that I definitely hope we get to see again.
Days Face is back. Never mind. Yep. It's I'm definitely excited to see.
I apologize.
No, you're good. Game number 2 is going to be Firing Range Search and Destroy. I'm not going to go ahead and write this one off, but obviously based on the first one, based off the quality of the team, seems pretty likely that Zygnus is going to walk away with the win on this one. We do expect S-Thug to probably pull out the sniper. And over on the side of Shredit, I'm thinking probably Time pulling out the sniper. We've seen both him and Vibin pull it out in the past. They've kind of gone back and forth throughout the season. If one of them manages to pop off, could potentially be a big opportunity, but with the amount of long angles on this map, this is one of the ones where snipers play an especially big role, so you're really going to have to be on the ball going up against a sniper like S-Thug.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And there's no shortage of talent on the side of Zygnus here. So, as you mentioned, you kind of definitely expect this to be a pretty quick 2-0. I mean, again, Shredit have put up a great fight against some of the top teams where we didn't expect them to. So, I don't know. Maybe we see a game 3 here. Maybe we at least see a couple rounds go over to the side of Shredit. There's still quite a bit of potential for this team. Again, I think they have phenomenal players as well. So we will have to see what the future holds for them. But obviously, with the merger between Zygnus and NL, you definitely would expect this Zygnus roster to stick around and stick together, which I think for them specifically appears to be a pretty big benefit. I mean, again, this is the one team to beat Tribes, so we will have to see as we move forward.
Yep. We've hopefully got all of our players readying up right now before we hop into our final game of the night. That is going to be Vitro versus 11T. Not gonna be honest, I expect that one to be a pretty quick matchup as 11D has looked really good at the end of the season. Vitro is still at 0 points. I feel like that gives about as much information as you need to give on the topic, but we always know there is the possibility for the underdog to sneak away with 1, maybe 2 maps, maybe a match win. I don't know that it would necessarily be enough to really impact the standings, because at this point, The only things that really matter are who's in the top 2 and who's in the top 6. Right now, it doesn't look possible for Exiled or Shredit to make it into the top 6, and it doesn't really look possible for 11T or Nova Invictus to make it into the top 2. We do have Zygnus Black up at 120 points, so 11D... Let's see, you said Shredit and Exiled have buys?
Yes.
Okay, so if I had to guess, Zygnus Black probably going to be able to pick up some points. 11D would be able to move within 15 points, and that would mean that we have teams 2 through 4 all within 5 points of each other. That's actually assuming that Zygnus loses here, though, and Zygnus isn't going to lose. So Zygnus will probably catapult back up into first place, which will put them, or not first place, but very close behind first place with 135 points behind Tribe at 140.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a lot of potential for Zygnus Black to possibly pass Zygnus Main for the matchups at least that we have ahead of us on Thursday. Zygnus Black face off against Vitro, which I don't expect to see a game 3 out of that, let alone a Vitro win. So you definitely think Zygnus Black have a solid 20 points coming for them. Zygnus Main have Invictus on Thursday, which you still would expect Zygnus Esports to come out with the win there based on the performances that they've had, based on the rosters both of the teams have. But, I mean, Invictus really showed up big in Hardpoint today. And, you know, obviously struggled quite a bit in Search and Destroy. So we'll have to see how that ends up playing out with the consistency of Zygnus Esports. I think they're pretty much locked in for second place. But, again, if they don't show up and Invictus does, it could make the world a difference.
Yeah. I believe we got all of our players readied up. We might have some issues with screenshots. So I think we're waiting on Zim to resolve that. And then once he does, I think we should be good to hop into this one. Search and Destroy firing range. I feel like we covered pretty much everything there is to cover at this point. And yeah, I mean, at this point, there's not much to do besides wait. Not really anything on the line between the two teams. I don't think we have our nominees for the Marksman MVP. Anything else yet? Am I correct on that one?
I haven't seen anything. I don't know if the stuff has even gone out yet necessarily, and I also don't know if we're just doing player nominations or if we're doing both this season. Maybe Zim can tell us. Zim has usually all of the answers, or tries to. Voting is at the end of this week. Okay. So we'll probably have that for... That'll probably be something to fill for Finals Day, since Finals Day is just the one best of 7. I think we probably aim for just doing the 3 then. Like maybe at the one after each game or something.
Yeah. Alright. Zim! Zim. Oh, okay. We're having
Question,
screenshot.
Zim, does it matter at this point? I guess it depends on which team it is that's having
Yeah.
chat issues.
Yeah, because if it is Zygnus, then
But, I
It
mean,
could
at
have
that point, does it
implications.
weigh out with the fact that Shredit all changed their names?
true. Because technically, it should have just been a DQ. What you know? What if we just DQ it and play the last match? Never mind, Shredit. We do want to give you the DQ. We changed our minds.
He changed our mind. Oh, so rude. We have one more matchup, right?
Yeah.
And it's what, Zygnus Black versus... No,
No.
it's...
11D versus Vitro.
Yeah, 11 versus Vitro. All right,
There
we're
we
in the
go.
game. All right, 1-0 Zygnus. Yes, we knew that. Thank you for the update. Appreciate you. Even though we use you as a punching bag and throw you under the bus a lot, we do love you.
True, true, true. And we are underway with game number 2 right here. We do have the sniping, and the is... Wait. 3.
The
Time?
is...
Yes,
time. Yeah.
Trying to find an angle across mid, not able to make it happen. Irving finds the first blood onto Thank. And time looking for the hop-up snipe. We do have S-Thug with the sniper in hand on the backside. Memories with the QXR actually able to take out Awaken right there, and Time actually had an angle to take somebody out from top 10, but wasn't able to get the timing quite right. I do see players holding down that backside. S-Thug not able to hit the snipe, but neither is the, and S-Thug finally with the return fire. 3 kills on the board for Zygnus right here. And it is going to be a 2v1 right here with 4 with the QXR in hand, but not, or Memories with the QXR in hand. Going to get taken out. It is going to be a 1-0 lead for Zygnus.
Yeah, again, I don't really think there's any surprise there, especially with S-Thug being here for the side of Zygnus main with the sniping prowess that he has. You do have a bigger B-side push this time around. Awaken is actually hit markered pretty hard here. May be able to stand up, gets the kill, gets the double after being down at literally like 3 HP. We do actually have the pickup by Oofer there, but he is now alone. Picks up a kill onto Irving. And 2v1 is definitely still possible, but you definitely expect Zygnus to be able to clutch it up, especially with S-Thug and Tatio. And there's the rotation from Tatio. That's going to be a 2-0 lead now for the side of Zygnus main.
Yep. And things going about as we expected them to. It does seem like Zygnus pretty much in control. 2 players still yet to pick up a kill over on Shredit. They've gotten some good pushes and been able to get things close toward the end of the rounds, but just not able to close out any of these so far. Looks like they are going to go with the A push right here, and Mayhem trying to see if he can find an angle over the A site. Gets the trophy down. They're going to need some smokes. The nade goes over top, but doesn't look like a whole lot of smokes. Beautiful shots from him. Take out a player on the inside of trailer. Picks up a DRH as well. Looking to find somebody on the inside of wood, but it is Zygnus playing things very, very passively and slowly. It's worked out for them so far, but players dropping left and right. Awaken and Tatio. Awaken is able to find 1 onto Memories to make it a 2v4, but the looking at him right there. He's got a sniper in hand. Not an ideal angle to peek right there, and he's now stuck what was in a 1v3, now a 1v2, and looking a little bit more possible right here. Not spotting anybody over on the site. It is going to be time with the sniper in hand right there. Awaken, not able to hit it. And need to hit something crazy right here to make this possible. And it looks like time content to sit back and play time. And that's definitely the right move. Mayhem going to be able to beam from the inside. It will be Shredit taking the first round win to bring things to 2-1.
Again, this is a team that has a lot of potential. They are, at this point, almost certainly, if not 100% certainly, out of the running. But, you know, again, it's been a pretty solid season. Several of these players were able to make some pretty sizable names for themselves. Unfortunately for them, you know, they're up against Zygnus main for their final matchup. So it is pretty seemingly one-sided. We do have the pickup there for Oofer, as well as for... Actually, the names are in a different order now. Oh, no. Oh, no.
I'm just going to call them by their in-game names. It doesn't even matter anymore. It's Memories and 4 remaining for Shredit right here. Tatio finds 4 Memories. I believe that's time going to be... Nope. I think 4 is time. The person with the sniper in his hand going to be the only remaining player for Shredit, and trying to find an eye over top of B. Not able to find anything. I think he actually heard S-Thug pushing up, but didn't quite hear him in time to turn. It's going to be another easy snipe going in for him. Just like that, Zygnus extends the lead once again to 3-1.
All right, thanks is Salai for just about. The I thought was timeless. I think Memories is vibing and Oofer is Mayhem.
Regardless, solid start for them. 2 frags onto Zygnus players so far, as Tatio and Envoy both going to drop. Irving finds some return fire, even things up a little bit. The bomb plant does go down over onto A, and the advantage in the hands of Shredit right here. But S-Thug about to come marching through. He's got that sniper. Awaken finds another frag. He's been really good for them so far, sliding on in. Trying to find some revolver shots. We haven't seen that go into play a whole lot in 4, with a really solid 2-piece to close out the round right there. And as we get ready to switch sides, Shredit still keeping things relatively close as we're at 3-2.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, they're 1 round down over arguably the best team in the league currently. I mean, they're number 2 in points, but they did beat the number 1 team. So, again, kind of up in the air on how you want to read that, but great plays so far for 4 and Thank. Just about in Salai, so we will have to see as we move forward. It does look like we have the pickup there, possibly Vibin sniping for them, the 3rd kill for him, and kills going back and forth, but it is Shredit with the lead. It is Shredit with the win, tying things up 3-3.
Yeah, this is definitely closer than we expected for things to be. Shredit putting up a really solid fight, especially 4 and Thank, who are Jusabat and Salai. So those have typically been the top 2 for the team, at least in respawns. They haven't necessarily been the most consistent search and destroy, but definitely wanting to go out with a bang in their final matchup, and obviously they've got a big opportunity to do that going up against one of the top teams, and they are just absolutely demolishing Zygnus right here. Tatio going to be the only player remaining for them. He's got 8 kills on the board, but he's going to need to find a 1v5 right here. Finds Mayhem, tries to turn, not going to be able to find it onto the. Just like that, Shredit's going to take the lead.
I mean, this is not really how I expected this to go. I mean, I definitely expected Shredit to put up a fight, as they have up against several of the top teams all season long, but if you would have told me that they would have had the lead in the second half 4-3, I don't know if I would have believed you. I could have seen this being like a 6-3 or a 6-2 for Zygnus, but no, Shredit are putting up a phenomenal fight here. Zygnus, however, start this round off with a double pick onto the top fraggers for the side of Shredit of Thank and 4, which is Salai and Jusabat, at least so we've been told. And Tatio picking up kill number 10, putting him into double digits there, is going to get the kill on to Memories. And now with a plant coming through, this is very likely going to be a round. Yep, that is going to be a Zygnus round, tying it up 4-4.
Yeah, this one may actually end up going to around 11. It definitely seems like they got down a little bit and Zygnus focused up a little more, which is what we see happen to some of these top teams whenever they're dropping some of these earlier mid-game rounds to lower ranked teams. So we'll see if they do manage to focus up a little more and close this one out in a game 2, or if we're going to be going to a game 3. Nade goes on into trailer, 2 into trailer. Tatio's the one able to pick up the frag nade onto Thank. And that's going to give them a first blood and a man advantage. S-Thug actually very nearly spotted somebody through that little fence right there, but not quite able to make it happen. They do still have plenty of time to work with, 50 seconds on the board. Tatio waiting on the inside of trailer as some of the nades go over top, and it looks like they're going to finally make the push on through to A right here as he's waiting for some sound potentially. It is on the backside playing with a sniper, but obviously not going to be able to see onto the site right here. S-Thug pushing up, does spot him, but not able to hit the initial snipe. Very nearly had one right there. But he's going to be alone alongside Mayhem to try to clutch this up against the 4 remaining Zygnus players. We do have Envoy on the backside of the stairs. Misses another shot right there. That could potentially seal the deal for them, as they've not really been able to find any. With Mayhem dropping, he's in a 1v3 with 13 seconds remaining. Player checks over top of the box. S-Thug hits the snipe. 5-4, and it is Zygnus 1 round away from closing things out.
Yeah, but we have had Shredit put up, again, a great fight here in Search and Destroy. They could potentially push us into a game 11. If they keep playing as well as they are, there's a chance this could be a unexpected game 3. So we'll have to see as things move on. Obviously, Tio just rocking it right now. 14 kills on the board for him. And it does look like we have Zygnus trying to play it a little bit aggressive here. Awaken is going to pick up the first blood onto Think, surviving with 31 HP. Gotta figure that gives them a little bit of room to start playing up, but Memories is going to get a kill onto Irving there. Awaken looking for the last bullet there, can't quite find it through the wall, almost finds another on the head glitch down there at the end. Tio finds kill number 15 onto Mayhem. And now a 4-3 lead for the side of Zygnus.
Yep, S-Thug making his way up to the bomb site now, and I think he actually spots the right there. He's going to be able to hit the snipe. Just unfortunate timing for Tatio as he's trying to find the angle. Actually gets a foot shot onto him, pulls out the revolver. He gets turned on right there. Envoy, who struggled all round long, now all by himself, catches on the rotation in, but he's not ready for the other player. Memories is going to hit the shots. He's going to be able to win the gunfight, gets the bomb defused right here. Ladies and gentlemen, we've got a round 11 on our hands.
Yeah, we're Shredit, the most slept on team Mobile Mayhem in 2021. Honestly. But they still got to pull together this one. They still definitely have to pull together a win here to push us to a game 3. We'll have to see. They do have offense advantage, if you want to call it that here. Got a nade cooked by Thank. Not going to find any sort of connect on that. Tio up at 15 kills. Top frag for the side of Shredit is currently 4, which is just about with 9. So pretty sizable gap there. S-Thug does almost drop there. He's going to drop down to 5 HP. He will survive, however. And with the call out from his team, makes the rotation on over to A side. Now looking for a wall bang. A couple close shots, but nothing gonna connect. A couple kills going back and forth. The big drag coming out of S-Thug there is gonna find that one. Oh man, it's hard to watch. It's pretty rough to watch a sniper, right? When in the spectator client you can see through the walls and you're like, man, if he would have just pulled the trigger.
Yeah.
But, just a close game between these two teams. Round 11 down to a 2-2. We do have 4 with the bomb, making the rotation up. Does find a couple hit markers there, but not able to find the bullets to connect for the kill. S-Thug will cleanly survive. 4 does almost find the kill. It is, oh my goodness, it's a 1-1 Memories versus Tatio.
Oh, he doesn't have time to get the plant off. Oh, what a way to lose.
Oh, man.
Oh, Tatio with the clutch kill at the end. They didn't play the time quite well enough, and Zygnus, just by the skin of their teeth, comes out on top. Tatio with the big time carry. 16-6 right there. Big performance for him, as Zygnus does close that one out and end the season for Shredit.
Yeah, I mean, that was a really well put up fight, but turning back for the kill, I don't know. You could have at least went for the plant. Worst case scenario, you die when you're getting your plant game on, but unable to find the kill on Tatio. That is going to be a round out for the side of Shredit. Again, great season, guys. Don't give up. We appreciate the heartfelt message, so and we hope to see you guys again. But yeah, I don't know. I'm proud of the performance Shredit put up today.
Yep. That was definitely really, really fun to watch. Definitely more exciting than I expected to be out of those two teams. So that does bring us to our final match of the night. It is going to be 11 versus Vitro. We do have one more part to our interview, our first 3-part interview, so we'll go ahead and play that one. And then when we get back, hopefully we'll have most of our players loaded in and ready to go for the final match of the night.
The next question that comes to mind is, and you cover some of this already, obviously, but somebody who's got great in-game results, looking to try and get into the competitive scene, what's the best advice you have for that guy who's kind of transitioning from being really good at the game to testing themselves in competition and is looking to get picked up by an org?
I would say definitely a great way to do it is initially trialing for teams. You know, that doesn't mean you're necessarily going to make it, but trialing with a team or playing on a lower team. I've seen a number of it in Mobile Mayhem. Even some of the teams where people are like, oh, this team is bad or whatever else, and they're lower level teams, and one person just stands out and hard carries. And everyone's like, oh, okay, they're here to play. Even though your team, you know, might not be up to par, but even just like you can perform yourself, that's an easy way. Another team sees that and they're like, okay, you know, we have this kind of like, we don't have a sub, or, you know, we could use a support player, or, you know, a main slayer, a sniper, you know, whatever it is. You know, okay, you're over here on this unsigned team, just, you know, throwing the team on your backpack. Here you go. Or even if you're, you know, running scrim, some of the lower level tournaments, just working your way up. You know, Rome wasn't built in a day. You don't just have to get on a tier 1 team tomorrow to make it. Like, tons of people had to start their way from nothing and earn their way up, and were looked down on until the point where they weren't.
Yeah, I think that's great advice. Is you know, take every opportunity, look for every opportunity, get in the Discord where people are forming scrim teams, and you know, a team might have an opening, somebody might know your name from trying to get in those games, and you might get that shot, perform well, and you're on your way. So yeah, it's being hungry, I think, is a big part of that too.
Oh, absolutely. I've seen so much of that where it's like, you know, somebody loses a player, especially an important player, and like you have subs on the team or whatnot, but it's like, who do we get to replace this? Well, you know, who do you know? I don't know. Who do you know? I've heard of XYZ, you know, who's played on these other teams. I hear they're free agents, or they're just a sub, or the team is unsigned. Maybe we'll reach out to them. Boom, you know, or, you know, you just kind of wait your time. You know, they're a good player. That team falls apart as soon as they do.
Yep.
Hey, you want to come over here?
I think the
roster.
ability to adapt as well with the meta changes, you know, like let's say you're a sniper only kind of player and your quick scopes are incredible, and then, you know, you're the champion of all no scopes, and then all of a sudden no scopes get a massive nerf. The ability to adjust, you know, play a different gun, play an entirely different class is huge for any kind of player who wants longevity as a competitor.
I think it's similar and akin to like Wild Rift or Brawl Stars or whatever else, where in that, like, you're not just doing one thing. You might kind of have a job, or like kind of a, like, this is what I'm good at, so this is what we're going to put you. Yeah, but it's not like you're just doing that all the time. You know, like any MOBA is a great example. Like, you can be tier 1 at a specific thing, but if you can't do that thing, what else are you going to do? You're
going to get subbed out.
Yeah. Like if you can only be a sniper, then you're only going to be in if you're a sniper. If you can say, well, you know, I'm not the best, but I can at least hold my own, and, you know, okay, I can't go out and slay, but on OBJ games, I'll live in the hard point.
Yeah.
That'll be my house. I won't leave it. I'll just survive.
Yeah.
Don't have to
pick up an SMG and be the best anchor in the game when you can't snipe, you know? Yeah.
It's something at least.
Yeah. And then another factor that I think a lot of, maybe younger players or maybe inexperienced players, I don't know, but the ability to take a loss as well as you take a win, maybe not want to talk as much trash, maybe be a little bit less toxic and just be there for a good time. That the importance of that cannot be understated.
I'll even counter that. The importance of not bragging mid-game because you're doing well is even more important, because if you just gaslight the other team, like, oh, we won 2 in a row in a best of 5, and you're just like, dropping emotes or, whatever else, you can easily incentivize them to be like, guys, pull it together. Let's just run the comeback and reverse sweep. And it literally gaslight them yourselves, where you could have just steamrolled them, but you just kind of, you lit the fire, and now they're angry. They want the win, and they just roll right back through. It's even more important because that can happen to anybody, where you're just like, nope, we're not taking this loss anymore, boys. Pull it together. And you basically kind of just throw it away yourselves.
It's like you shooting bodies gave them all the motivation they needed to win.
Yeah. Now they're like, nope. Okay. We were like, down bad before, but we're not accepting this. And I've seen it so many times in so many games where just that like bravado kind of just gaslights people to put their foot on the pedal and not look back. And it's the same way of like losing, it's never a failure if you learn something. The failure is to either accept failure or to just like turn that into like, oh no, you're bad, blah blah blah.
Twitter anger.
Yeah, man, like just learn and grow. We were all trash at one point in time. There's nobody who wasn't trash at some point in time. Maybe like, 1 per 10 million person, just like, was born, came into sports or video games as like a young kid and is just an absolute prodigy and slapped everybody 24/7. But even they take losses. So
yeah, 100%.
You got to take the wins and the losses together, and that creates your portfolio of being able to execute under pressure.
And I'm sure from an organization owner's perspective, the most valuable people in many situations are the ones with a level head who can kind of bring everybody down, focus everyone else, and kind of keep their cool in those tough situations.
I mean, once you get to, the high tier events, it's not like it was back in the early 2000s or the 2010s where like you can reach across a stage and say some craziness to somebody and get away with it. Like you can't and also it's not like you can just rage quit a game and leave. Like you get to the high level, you're on that stage. You're not going anywhere. You have to play no matter what, whether you're getting absolutely ran through or not. Like if you want to get to that level, it's best to use the smaller tiers to prepare, because once you get there, if you're not prepared, somebody else is going to be more prepared than you to deal with the lights, the cameras, the pressure, the tens, hundreds of thousands of viewers or whatever it is, all the people sitting there cheering you on or whatever else. Like if you're not taking the small events and treating them like you would the large events, you're just never going to be prepared.
Yeah, 100%. And as the last question I've got here, what is your favorite game to play when you've got some extra time these days?
Currently right now, Wild Rift.
I'm lost in it, man.
Yeah, same. Out here trying to learn Darius, man, and I'm terrible at it, so it's down bad. Down horrendous. But,
I feel like COD Mobile's my main. Call of Duty as a franchise has my heart, but man, I'm lost in the Rift, and I'm putting up some low damage numbers with Darius and Evelyn right now. I'm trying to rock the map, and it is not working out every game.
I'll say one thing as a benefit as an org owner is I got some people to tap into for the backpacks, and I got no problem living in the backpack. It's warm and cozy in there, and I get across the finish line. So
I feel like every time I play in a Trovo event, I get carried like a baby kangaroo, but it's fun every time.
Hey, listen, getting across the finish line is all that matters. If I'm walking on my own 2 legs or I'm in the backpack, it's same to me.
Awesome. Well, hey, man, I really enjoyed the interview. This is one of my most fun ones that we've done so far, and everybody loves the kind of higher level perspective that you bring to it. So thanks for joining us today.
Awesome. Thanks for the opportunity. Absolutely love Mobile Mayhem. Appreciate all the work that all of you do. Look forward to competing in it and look forward to seeing you guys continue to help bolster the scene overall across mobile.
Yeah, we can't wait to see how Aphelion performs this season.
Thank you. Look forward to doing our best.
All right. Well, that rounds out the end of the interview. And oh my goodness, we've already got all of our players loaded in. They're all readied up. Hopefully they've all got their screenshots as well. Would you look at that? The timing. Already hopping into game number 1.
Yeah, should be a fun one to round out the night. Vitro, a team that has no points on the board, but they have definitely made a couple teams really work for their wins. So we'll have to see if we see the A+ Vitro today. Again, not the lowest KDAs in the league, so you got to give them a little bit of hope, and it's Sped picking up the first blood, followed by Tomb as well.
Yep, Danny Gogu chilling up in top of wood, gonna be able to find one. Couple additional shots on to Tomb as well. Parallel and Paletos finding some. Looking like, as you said, this could be closer than we expected it to be as Parallel slides on in, gets the refrag as well. It is 11T on the hill for the time being, but a lot of frags go. Vitro is, what the, where has this team been all year long? Parallel with 4 kills on the board right now. Finds one around the corner, and he's going to be able to take out just as well. This man's on a streak right now. Could potentially see a Pred missile as well as maybe a cluster strike if he plays this right. I don't think he saw players crossing through right there. Lays down the initial shots. Does get the Pred missile and only 205 away from the cluster. Not going to quite be able to take out Diego, but that's definitely a really solid start for Parallel with 7 kills on the board.
A solid start for Parallel in the kill department, but it is looking pretty good for 11T on the score department. What was looking like a good rotation for Vitro there quickly turns as 11T beaming people off of the head glitches there. And with about a 50-point lead already, this is a great start for 11T. I don't think it's really much of a surprise. But, you know, again, Vitro out of the gate with the kills is really rocking it currently.
Yeah, and Parallel following that strong start has not really managed to find a kill. Meanwhile, Danny Gogu popping off very similarly to how we saw Parallel, and he's already got a Pred missile and a cluster strike in his control, on top of the fact that 11D already has a 75-point lead and is in the process of making that rotation on over to P3. We do see a couple players set up, and Sped actually does find a double kill right there. However, he's going to get spotted by Danny Gogu, is going to be eliminated. Parallel taking shots, and actually going to be able to hit the return fire. I didn't think he was going to be able to win that gunfight, but regardless, it is 11T once again with the setup. They've got the map control, calling in the Pred missile right there, holding things down. It is Wiru getting beamed through the wall right there. And it looks like Vitro is going to be able to get their first real time on the hill right there, with Tomb winning a much-needed gunfight. Trying to hop back into the corner right here, but the cluster strike can hit from pretty ridiculous range, and that's going to put things wide open for 11D to once again get the break.
Yeah, and they are approaching a 100-point lead at this point, especially if they're able to hold down the rest of this hard point. It is sometimes a difficult one to hold, but it does not look to seem like they are really struggling at this point. They do have 3 in the hard point, and Just and Diego absolutely killing it right now, 11 and 12 kills respectively. Parallel and Paletos not far behind though, with 12 and 10 as well. So you know, again, the kills are there for Vitro, the rotations are not, and I definitely think it's one of the things that specifically this season with the rule set we have really can set apart the difference between just having gun skill and having team synergy. And that's one of the strongest suits that 11D has. We don't always necessarily see them at the top of the kill leaderboards in the games, but they work really well together as a team. They have good rotations, and honestly, it's going to be no shock that 11D have a over 100-point lead here currently. looking to extend it as well, as they are massively filling up the feed. I think the past like 8 or 9 kills in a row at this point have been 11T, and then Elitos finally breaks the streak there, gets the kill on to Diego, who's up at 14. But I mean, it's right back to 11T filling up the feed. Elitos picks up a double there. Not really enough to make the break onto the point, but it does give them a bit of stall time. But with the quick clear out once again from 11T, they're going to lead 140 plus points at this point, and this could potentially be a pretty quick 2-0 between these two teams.
Yep. I don't know how Scott didn't see Danny Goku on the inside right there, but that's going to be another free kill going in for him. And like you said, the rotation's just not there for Vitro, and looks like the kill count starting to catch up with them a little bit as well. Pelitos is able to win one there, alongside Parallel doing their best to keep their team in the game, but Scott and Tomb still lagging a good bit behind, as is Sped. And a couple seconds go in right there for Vitro, but it won't last. Pelitos trying to hold down Trailer as long as he possibly can. Lays down the shots, doesn't have the angle. 160 points is the lead right now for 11D, and looks like it's going to continue to stack. Pelitos honestly having a phenomenal game right here. A big 2-piece, nearly had the 3-piece. Finally gets taken out. Parallel trying to find something here too. They've been able to get a couple of breaks, but usually the breaks have not really converted over to a sizable amount of points, and I think that's been their biggest downfall so far, is when they've had the opportunities, they've not been able to maximize that time on the hill. It is a 160-point lead right now, as 11T looks to close game 1 out pretty quickly right here, and it seems like the kills now starting to stack up a little bit more for 11T, as you can see that consistency across the board. Justin Diego combined for 20 right now, and they only need about 35 more to close this one out.
Yeah, that's a pretty one-sided lead currently for 11T. They may, they may pick up the 200-plus win here. We will have to see if Vitro are able to pull together a couple seconds of time here. But with, again, 11T filling up the feed, this one looks like it's going to be over pretty quick. Scott jumps in on the point, right into the bullets of Danny Gogu, who then slides and picks up the kill onto Parallel as well. 11T just flooding the feed currently. And this might be it. Unless if someone's able to get on and contest for several seconds, which it doesn't look like is going to be the case. That's going to be a 250-43 win for 11T. Again, Vitro has skilled players. They put up, honestly, across the board, very close in the kills, at least comparatively. I mean, when you look at the score being over a 200-point lead, you expect to see everybody on 11T like 20 kills positive, and everybody on Vitro really down in the dirt, and that wasn't necessarily the case. So again, it's more so 11T are just the much finer knitted and close team, and again, with the only score streaks being Pred Missile and Cluster Strike, with no tracker, no persistence, it really is going to come mostly down to teamwork. And we actually saw that earlier as well in Zygnus Black versus Invictus. Invictus had a 38 kill lead and lost by 10 points. So it really goes to show just how important the teamwork is, and you can't specifically or exclusively rely on gun skill. I mean, it definitely can make it easier, but the teamwork is the bread and butter.
Yeah, that was a pretty clean win. I mean, when you get somebody in the 50-point club right there, that's pretty elite club. As 11D does come out on top and gets us ready to hop into Search and Destroy over on Tunisia. So just waiting for our players to ready up, and we should be good to go based on that one. I mean, this is what I said after the F4 game, but based on that one, seems like game number 2 probably going to be a pretty quick one, but F4 was able to hold their own, and they were 1 kill away from getting the win in Search and Destroy. So definitely not beyond the realm of possibility, but they're definitely going to have to step things up right here, as that was not just a win for 11T, but that was, at least on the point side of things, pretty much a smackdown.
Yeah, I mean, again, the kills not super drastically in favor of 11. I mean, they definitely were. But you know, Vitro, I think at this point realized their fate. I think they're just here to play and have fun and you know, show that they have the skill. I mean, at this point, it may be them, you know, trying to put up numbers, say, hey, you know, look, we're here to compete. We may not have had the team synergy, but we have skill, and you know, there's potential that maybe a couple of these players could possibly look to be picked up for a later season. You know, again, we've talked about that about a couple teams here today that have, you know, really solid individuals that maybe just don't work well together as a team. It's hard to say.
Yep, just waiting for a couple players to ready up. Somebody in the chat saying who makes the matchmaking. Well, the way that the matchmaking works is all the teams in the league play each other. So
That's weird how that works, right?
yeah, there's not really anyone to blame for this matchup. It's just that all the teams play against each other. So sometimes the lower teams play against the upper teams, and that's just the way that it goes. Because that's the way that it goes in any league format thing, in any sport, esport, anything in the world. Freaking chess, that's the way it works.
I mean, it's, you know, it's gonna happen in everything, right?
Yeah.
Esports, sports. I mean, you know, you're gonna have people who are good and go to the Olympics, and you're gonna have people that work out in their garage.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, you know, you're gonna have ups and downs of both, and you know, unfortunately, again, this is kind of the extremes of the two. Currently, we have a team that has been back and forth between second place and fourth place pretty much all season long, and a team that, again, has put up really great games. They do not have the lowest KDs in the league by any means. I mean, it's not even really close. So this is a team that has made a lot of teams fight for their win, and we're just, again, I don't know if it's a little bit demoralized. It's the last week of the season. They're down at 0 points, but you know, again, we will see as we move forward. Currently, it is a 11-1-0 lead with the flawless first round. Scott taking a couple bullets there, will survive, even just barely, and with a full send from the side of Vitro here on B, you definitely expect to see a attempt, and we do actually have a couple kills getting picked up there, but and well, there you go. It is a Vitro win that round, so we could see this potentially go a little bit later in the game. We've already seen one team who we didn't expect to stand a chance push us all the way into a round 11 search and destroy that timed out. So, you know, and at that, it's, if they would have just planted the bomb and not went for the kill, they might have won. They might, you know, they might have pushed us to a game 3 up against Zygnus Elite. So we've already seen a pretty sizable comeback tonight. There's still a lot of potential for Vitro here, and only time will tell. Currently 11T have the 4-3 lead. Make it a 3-2 lead as a couple trades go back and forth there. Zai picking up a kill onto Pelitos.
Yep.
And still 1-1.
Vitro are going to find themselves down a man, and it looked like they might have had an angle. Obviously, things not great for them because they need to go get the bomb, and you got, right now, 11 players set up everywhere to try to make sure that doesn't happen. It is going to be actually parallel, finding a big frag right there. Unfortunately for... Oh, Weru's going to drop to sped as well. That's going to be 2 rounds in a row going for Vitro right here. So even
Vitro
though
about to pick up their first 5 points.
They, oh my gosh, imagine against 11 no less. That would be
in search. 11
yeah.
In search.
I mean, I don't even know. And they've got Zai. They didn't have Zai last week, but they got him back now. And they find themselves down a round to a team that does not have any points in Mobile Mayhem this season. And we're in the last week of the entire season. So we'll see if 11 is able to pick things up right here. We do have Danny Gogu trying to make the push on up. This is a very unusual setup for Vitro, but I feel like it could work just because of how unusual it is. Unfortunately for them, nobody on 11T is just budging at all, so they got to push in. Parallel drops right off the start. Tomb drops as well. They're getting collapsed on. Oh, that backfired real quick. Left and right, players dropping. Scott's going to be able to find one. Not going to be able to find two. That's going to be 11D evening things up at 2-2.
Yeah, overall, a good fight put up by Vitro so far. With the exception of the first round, that was a clean sweep for 11T. You know, this past round that 11T won was still marginally close. I mean, Vitro doing a great job here, specifically in the likes of Sped, who's up at 4 kills, to tie Wiru, kind of the search and destroy legend, you could say. Danny Gogu is going to get hit markered there, but Tomb does as well. Both of them do survive. Scott is like really brave with his ammo right now. He's got a QQ9 out, so clearly has limited ammo, and he is pre-firing a lot of corners.
He's trying to do everything in his power to keep Vitro in this and see if they can put some points on the board. He's going to be able to get the plant over onto B right here. And Sped going to be able to put the trophy down over there, setting up on the backside with the sniper. Not a bad spot to be. Typically, you would expect the sniper to play the longer angles. He's actually going to try to jump up right there. Hits the quick scope. What a shot. Wiru's now got the sniper in hand for his team. But he's on a 1v3. He's got a DRH as well. Going to slide this corner, see if he can find anybody. Tomb sitting right in the backside, and that should be an easy kill for him. Just like that, Vitro's going to be able to retake the lead at 3-2.
This is a great start for Vitro, and I've mentioned it before, Bobby. If you are the underdog in Search and Destroy, you have to make your impact in offense. And Vitro go into the second half with a lead, so they're doing great here. I think this is definitely where it gets to be a little bit more of a struggle for them. Scott still pretty much pre-firing every single corner imaginable, but you know, as you mentioned, doing everything he can to try to keep his team in the contest for potentially pushing a game 3 here would be, I mean, kind of bonkers, but doable. Scott picks up the kill onto Danny Gogu there.
Yep, they are going to lose their sniper. He's pre-firing everything. Oh my gosh, he's playing it like a respawn. That's so, I mean, obviously it's unusual because you never see anybody do that in Search and Destroy, but it's working. Somehow he hit shots onto Zy right there. I don't even know if he was trying to hit him, but looks like he was trying to pre-fire the corner and just happened that he was there. It looks like every kill.
Lead for Vitro.
Wow. Every kill goes in for Vitro right there. And now they're up 2-4 on 11D, who's been one of the top teams in Mobile Mayhem all season long.
Yeah, I mean, Vitro, again, could be looking for their first 5 points here. I mean, it's a little too late, but I've said all season that this team has potential. They have good players. If they can get their synergy together, they could do something. And right now, they're doing something. I mean, they're up 2 rounds over one of the better Search and Destroy teams in the entire season. So, specifically Sped and Tomb, both with 7 kills on the board, are doing great. We are officially joined, Bobby, by the wonderful and amazing Sylvia Renee. Make sure everybody in chat is super, super nice to Sylvia. She's one of the many people who keeps a Mobile Mayhem going. So
she does all the stuff that I do not have the know-how to do. So everyone say thank you, Sylvia. We do have the bomb going down over onto B. Scott going to send out the smoke right here, trying to make a risky play, but Diego's up on the high ground, and he said, no, 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 not today. He's going to get eliminated right there. Parallel and Sped left to try to clutch against the remaining players, and they're going to drop right there. Sped's the only one left. Not going to be able to hit the quick scopes quite the way that he was in rounds 1 through 5. And 11D is going to be able to take that one and keep things close at 3-4.
Yeah, this is still a close game. I think anybody who's watched this season would definitely expect 11T to make the comeback here. But you know, again, if you sleep on Vitro, they definitely have a lot of potential. This is a very aggressive full send into the spawn by Vitro. We do have Scott as well as Tomb pushing up behind here. Zai is going to pick up the kill onto Sped. We do have the bomb plant over on A. Scott, with his corner pre-fire there, is actually going to get the kill onto Weru.
It does have a
It worked. It worked.
It might not work all the time. It's probably not great for his accuracy stats, but you know what? You got to do what you got to do. But
Zai.
the snipe from Zai threads the needle right there. Tomb lays down the shots, not able to get the kill. Pressure's on for Parallel. 15 seconds for 3 kills and a defuse. Gets number 1. Won't be able to get number 2. Diego takes him out. 2 rounds in a row going in for 11T right there, and that's going to allow them to tie things up at 4-4.
Yeah, this could potentially be another round 11 that we never expected to see coming. I mean, there's, you know, still potentially 3 rounds ahead of us, and, you know, Vitro have won 4. I mean, so have 11T, and you'd expect them to be ahead, but still very much doable here. Do have Tomb up at 8 kills and just leading 11T with 7. Couple kills coming through for 11T there. Danny Gogu with the beautiful head glitch there is going to pick up the kill on Scott. Shy of a miracle. This looks like a 5-4 lead for 11T at this point. I mean, it would really require Sped to get like a lot of really solid picks here, and with him getting that 1, it's going to alert 11T to his presence, and oh, what a shot! Dies to Zai, but that was a great shot.
Obviously, it's not enough to win the round, but yeah, like he said, that was a pretty filthy quick scope for him. Had he been able to hit the first one, it might have been a manageable, well, not a manageable, but at least a possible situation. And we do now have Vitro on the brink of elimination, and Zai taking out Sped right there. Not looking good for Vitro. We see them making their full push on over to B. Nobody waiting for Vitro. They are currently trying to make their way through the A site right now with the bomb going down a man. No sniper, not a great position for them. We do have Pelitos, who's only managed to find 1 kill so far, making the push on up and trying to find the angles. Parallel pre-fires the corner, not able to find anybody. Players are dropping left and right. Tomb trying to find something, finally gets a frag. But it is going to be Pelitos dropping off before he can find anything, and Weru picks up the final kill right there. 11T able to avoid a game 3 and get the 2-0 victory over Vitro.
I mean, again, it is kind of what we expected going into this matchup. But again, Vitro put up one heck of a fight up against one of the stronger Search and Destroy teams in our entire league. So really, really good work coming out of Vitro. I mean, again, this is one of those situations where even though they lost, I can't really be mad at the way they performed. So great job, guys. Definitely hope to see some of you guys in the future. Oh, wait, no, they don't have a bye. So we'll see them again Thursday.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Shredit and Exiled to have a bye. Okay, so we'll see you guys one more time this season, and after that, I hope to see you guys more. But you know, again, this is definitely a team that I think the players individually have a lot of talent. Just maybe the team doesn't work together as well as they had hoped. So it's really hard to say, but it's been a fun season so far, Bobby. I can't complain too much. Another really competitive upper half of the bracket. We've got a what looks to be a great set of matchups for the qualifiers, which again, kind of the placement around the middle of the standings will make a difference on who plays who. But I think for the most part, it's going to be pretty locked in. I think Tribe and Zygnus Esports, the main roster, formerly NL, pretty certain they're going to be in first and second, so they'll get the buys, and then the rest of the teams are pretty much just fighting to see who plays who. So it will be a pretty good season left ahead of us. We still have a couple weeks, so we'll have Thursday's games. We'll have next week will be the quarterfinals on Tuesday. We'll have the semifinals on Thursday, and then the week after that we'll have the finals on Tuesday and the All-Star games on Friday. So you guys definitely don't want to miss any of the upcoming games that we have. Obviously, moving into the quarterfinals and semifinals next week, that should ideally be kind of the best of the best matchups as we move forward. So that, I believe, is all from me, though, Bobby.
Yeah, that rounds out the night pretty well, as always. Appreciate Day helping me out with casting, admins taking care of all of our back-end stuff, and the players for playing. I don't know if you guys can tell, but I'm kind of tired. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap up the stream, whoever we raid. Make sure to show them some love and spam hashtag use code Bob in chat. But that's going to be it for the stream. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure to drop a follow, like, subscribe, wherever you are. We'll be back on Thursday with our final games of the regular season, and we'll see you guys then. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll catch you in the next one.